Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Kratom Gals. This is an independent, opinion-based panel where everyday Kratom consumers come together to discuss headlines. We react to publicly available hearings, as well as media coverage, and we share our personal perspectives. We're not insiders, we're not lobbyists, we're Kratom consumers, and we believe everyday people deserve a voice in the conversation when it comes to this plant. Each week, we look at what's being said about Kratom, who's saying it, and whether it lines up with the publicly available facts. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't, but what you'll always get here is honest reaction and lived experience. So I'm the host, Madeline Sklar. We've been doing the Kratom Gals here every Saturday for a few years now. I also host the Kratom Stories podcast and the Kratom Real Talk community over at school.com. I've been a daily consumer of Kratom for almost 7 years. My anniversary is on March 30th. I cannot believe I'm coming up on 7 years of consuming this amazing plant every day to manage my debilitating chronic pain. It has so significantly improved my life. That's why I come on here on my own time. Nobody's paying me to come here and speak. I do this because I want people to know there's a plant that might help them, just like the way it helped me. Now, quick note before we begin, this live stream is for educational purposes only. We're not medical professionals here. We are not giving out any medical advice. We're sharing our personal experience, and we advocate for, we're sharing the personal experiences, but we're all big with advocating, and we're advocating for responsible legal access to Kratom. All views here expressed are our own. Let me say it again. All views expressed here from everybody that comes up that's going to be on screen is their own view. Now let's bring up the Kratom Gals that are here with us today. Hello, gals. Good to see you all.
Hi. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Everyone.
It's a reunion from our show a few weeks, about 3 weeks ago? About 3 weeks.
Yep, it is.
Our Valentine's special, February 14th. Did y'all know today is International Women's Day?
Hey.
Yes. Hey. Girl power.
I didn't, but it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It is perfect. So, and it's not like we're some like feminist group or anything. I wasn't planning to call it the Kratom Gals. It's just when we started it a few years ago, people have to keep in mind, I come from the digital marketing world for the last 30 years. So I'm always thinking of like catchy names for things. And, there was 4 of us gals, so let's call it the Kratom Gals. I thought that was a catchy name. So, if anybody's wondering, that's what that's about. We already have a bunch of people here hanging out with us in the comments. Good to see everybody. Becca's here. Becca will be joining us a little later. Always good to see you all. Kathleen. How are y'all doing today? How's everybody?
Glad to be here. It's just okay. That we can go over the week because the weeks are so crazy, and then to touch base and realize everybody feels the same way, that it is crazy, just makes me feel not so crazy. So
yeah, it's been an exhausting week for advocacy.
It's insane. I can't keep up with it. It is so much. It's so much. There's so many different things. And for people that do this full-time advocacy, I don't know how any of y'all do it. I mean, I work and then I try to stay on top of it. But I tell you what's helpful is Robin's website, a Botanical Advocacy and Education.
Yeah.
Robin, y'all do a phenomenal job of keeping us all updated through your website.
It definitely could not happen without Lois and Angela.
Yeah, y'all are doing amazing work. Let me pull it up on the screen here. For anybody watching.
And everybody. And everyone that contributes, whether it's by giving us information or just reaching out, it's been a wonderful welcome back.
Yeah, y'all do a spectacular job on it, and it is so appreciated what y'all do. So I definitely. Trying to make it so it doesn't cover you up. Anyway, go to botanicalae.org. This is their website. The part that I just love the most when I come over here is I click on call to action in this very first item. Too many actions, not enough advocates. This is one long scrolling page of just all the latest that's going on that they've updated on the website. But also, in addition to that, y'all also added to the navigation, find your state. And then through here. Like let's see, Georgia was, I think, what, yesterday?
Wednesday,
So you can,
Tuesday.
okay, so you can come on here to get the latest, and then they've got more coming up, and you can just see, I know Tennessee has 2 hearings, one for Senate, one for House.
Yes.
Tennessee,
Angela's working on getting that updated right now.
lots of information. So for anybody watching, if your state is being affected right now, go over to their site and you can get all this information. They show you all the details. If you need help with advocating, they can help you. Robin, y'all are doing phenomenal work. I love that y'all are doing all
Thank
this
you.
grassroots advocacy, because boy, have we needed more of this, a lot more of this.
Definitely. And Iowa just came up too.
Yeah, lobbying is extremely important. It always has been. It always will be.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to do the grassroots work. We need to be out there educating our legislators, educating our store owners, educating other consumers. Because without that, the lobbying cannot continue to succeed.
There's a lot of lack of education. I know when I personally go to these hearings in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, you know, I ask how many, you know, a lot of the times I'll ask, how many of you guys even know what Kratom is?
Nobody.
I know in the Nashua, New Hampshire band, the only person who knew what it was the alderman who had brought it up, the one that brought his daughter there to speak first. He was the only one that knew what it was, you know, and then we ended up getting the Board of Health in, and, you know, they came in and, you know, we kept them from fighting the ban.
Uh-huh.
But they none of them are educated. We have all of these legislation making choices for us that have zero education, zero knowledge on it. They hear, you know, gas station heroin, it's stronger than morphine. This is super bad. And it's like, it's none of those.
Scary.
Like, it's none of those. Like, it's the narrative that's being painted that they want you to hear. A lot of people forget that, you know, like you can flip through each news channel and each story will have a little bit different, and it's how they put it to the narrative, you know, and it's just, it's sad to see. And I really, really wish people would start taking it upon themselves to start educating. You know, don't do a simple Google search and then just go with it. Like, you know, look at stuff on Robin's site on BAE, you know, look at Madeline's tons of testimonies, you know, that many of us, we are the science, like, you know, we are the science, and then there's science to back us, you know? So it's like, it's sad that people are just, oh, this is bad, this is what it's saying. But yet, do you know anybody that's taking Kratom? Have you seen anybody on Kratom? Because here we are all in our faculties. I just dosed right before I came on because, you know, start of the day. And if I was on something stronger than morphine, I would be inebriated. Right. Maybe this works like how morphine should, where it, you know, goes to like a, you know, this, it bounces off the same receptors, but it does not have the same effect as the medication does. There's a shelf life. It stops. You're not going to feel more. You're just not. With morphine, you can die from, you know, they just keep giving you that and you can't even, you're annihilated. I can't. I was in, they gave me Dilaudid in the hospital and I'm not supposed to take that. And I can't stand that. Nope. I don't even feel that like with Kratom. I hated it. It was awful.
Yeah. Micah has a question. She's saying, I need relief today. Should I buy capsules at a vape shop? Who has thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'll go to a vape. If I'm in dire need, I will go to a vape shop versus a gas station. Gas stations don't know. A lot of vape shops like out here in New Hampshire have them. Like we have like a Smoker's Haven and a few other places, but it's 21 plus. You can't go in there without it. The staff does know a little bit where I go, you know, like green, white, red, you know, they kind of know like the simple basics. But yeah, I mean, for me, if this was me and I needed something today for relief and all that was available was caps and or powder, because smoke shops do have powder, I would go to the smoke shop and I would grab some. I would also, while I was there, pull up, you know, each one that you see and look at the reviews online. That way, you know, you're seeing and see if you can get like a QR code off of their bag so you can pull up their labs. That way you're at least getting basic. So if that was me, that's what I would do if I had to go out to the smoke shop today.
And I would do the same if it was absolutely necessary for relief today. I would do the same. I would just buy enough for today, or an allotment of it, and then I would proceed to buy it from somebody else online that we know has good, a reputable reputation.
Safe, tested product.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I do the same too. And then try and educate them while I was there too. So
Yeah.
And sometimes the vape shops are selling some of the big, some of the people, Madeline, that you've had on, some of the vape shops do carry their products. And so, at one time I was, even though I bought from there, I was sort of iffy on it because I was uncertain, but in a pinch, I would say that would probably be okay. And then just go to somebody else. Yeah.
I'm glad we could help, Micah. Great question that you asked. I would go to a vape shop if I had, in a pinch and need to, and just be prepared to go look up the companies on your phone while you're in there and just make sure that they look reputable. Make sure they third-party lab test. Like they should have a QR code or some information. I don't want to show any of my packages because YouTube doesn't like that. We get in trouble here for anything related to brands. So, and Mel's making a good point.
Love just said. That's exactly who I was thinking, because Love just said 1836. That's who
So it's not everywhere, but some smoke shops do carry. That's a great brand, 1836 Kratom. They're actually a big supporter of all of our advocacy efforts and education efforts here.
We see a lot of remarkable herbs out here, which they're not terrible. I've taken the product before. They're not terrible. So, that's one we do see a lot here, like in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. Remarkable herbs is one that we do see.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's get into some videos because I got lots for us to watch. There's never.
Madeline, before we do, I want to address something that Amanda said that I agree with so much. You were talking about how the news channels are all similar. What's frightening is when you look back at the news reports from 2015, 2016, 2017, Kratom was the gas station heroin.
It's verbatim. It's word for word verbatim.
It was the extracts that were gas station heroin. Now it's other products. Guys, at least come up with a new storyline.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I keep saying,
right.
How would we ever be able to know which one to stay away from if everything is gas station heroin?
It's optics.
Right.
It's demonizing the
plant. They can't even be bothered to do a unique story.
Yeah.
Right.
Agreed.
Yep.
And you don't hear these news stories, going, oh, we've got, 178,000 deaths related to alcohol. We don't hear anything like that. Or, hey, however many people have died from, cigarette tobacco smoking or
Tylenol
smoke. We don't hear it. Or, Tylenol. We don't hear those. So it's like, leave my plants alone, please.
Exactly. Yeah. Deborah, I'm definitely going to play that Fox News because, boy, that one was awful.
Oh, yes. And there needs to be a serious email and letter writing campaign to those people, to Fox and to that Siegel, Dr. Siegel.
Lori Ingram was saying awful things. And yes, extreme tianeptine, that's where I first heard of gas station heroin. They were, because here on the Kratom Gals a few years ago, some of the media reports we'd play here, they were referring to gas station heroin. It was tianeptine is what.
And the phenibut, I don't know if that's how you say it. Yeah, that one. Those two together were such like, that's the big one that I was like, oh my gosh, and they're terrible.
And those were used as research chemicals. I know they have other applications, but they were used as a form of research chemical back in the 2015s, 2014s for people to get high. Come on.
Exactly. Hey, Angela, good to see you here. All right, let's get, I want to go into it with some videos. The first one is more of a public service announcement. Make sure people know I'm actually hosting a webinar on Wednesday next week, along with Sarah Pita from Midraspect. She's been on the Kratom Gals multiple times. So her and I have teamed up, and let me play this so everybody's aware of what we're doing. Hey everybody, come join me on Wednesday, March 11th over in our school community at kratomrealtalk.com for a webinar helping people learn more about Kratom, created by this new researching or still learning come over and join me. I'm bringing Sarah Pita from Mitrospect, and we're going to just answer questions. We're going to talk about the plant and just help people get more acquainted with it. You know, when I started my Kratom journey in 2019, there wasn't a whole lot of information out there. And I would have loved to have gone to a webinar and watch people talk more about this plant so I could learn. So come over to kratomrealtalk.com. The details are in the calendar section. I hope to see you there. And bring your questions. Okay. So come
Nice.
join us. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, trying to have just some more of an education series to help people new. And we did a
And
little.
what time is that, Madeline?
That's going to be Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern. Over in
perfect.
school. Over in school. Let me show that real quick. So it'll be like a Zoom. Well, it's going to be like a webinar, kind of like a Zoom, but it'll be in school, which means it's private. It won't be like publicly out on social media. It's going to be private, and people can come in and ask questions if they want. But we're basically just going to go over like some of the basics. But just like when we're live streaming this right now, there will be a chat room in the live. And you can come chat in there. And actually, I encourage people that are experienced Kratom consumers to come over there and chat and share their thoughts to help people that are new. But yeah, we're doing this. The way to access it is go to the calendar. You come over to our calendar section here, and you can see we have lots that we do here, just like right now. Here's the Kratom Gals. If anybody in our community is like, where's that link to their YouTube when they're live streaming? Just come in here. So I always have the link each week to the live. Or if you want to go watch the replay from last week, click on last week, and this link will take you to last week's episode. But yeah, this Wednesday is showing 4 o'clock because that's my time zone in Central Time. But this link right here will open it up and take you right to the webinar. That's you don't like. There's no like sign up like a Zoom or RSVP. You just come click on this link when it's time, and you can pop in at any time. You don't like have to come early or worry about, like, if you can pop in for a few minutes or pop in later during it, it'll be for about an hour-ish. It just depends if people have lots of questions. But you can also add it to your calendar. Anything that's in our calendar here, they'll have this add to calendar, and you can have it go, like I use Google Calendar. I can click on that and it'll add this event into my Google Calendar. So yeah, come hang out with us. Want to make sure people are aware that that's something we're doing, and see, hopefully people will be interested in something like that. We'll find out and see.
I love seeing the calendar get filled up more and more.
Exactly. I do too.
To do.
I do too. I love that. And it's something I've been wanting to do more of. Christopher from Christopher's Organic Botanicals, we did a webinar last year helping people learn about Kratom, and especially people like us that come from the chronic pain community. And so, but we didn't do it as like a traditional webinar. We recorded it, and then I put it up on YouTube. So it was just out everywhere. But yeah, so Chris Lopez, thank you for joining us. Good to have you here. Love seeing everybody joining us on this Saturday, International Women's Day. All right, I'm going to play the Fox News story because this is 4 minutes of just the stuff that they say. Anybody that has not seen this yet, you're not going to like this. And so let me, I have to do this one through their website. So it's a little tricky the way they're, 1 second. It's weird. It's not letting me cue this up very well. So, all right, we'll see if I can make this work. See, when it's trying to, I'm going to try to play it and then back it up to the very beginning. Okay, there it is.
If you haven't heard of Kratom, I bet your kids have. It's sold in gas stations across the country, and it's marketed as an all-natural and healthy substance, but in reality, it's addictive and sometimes deadly. And it's easy to get as a pack of gum.
He didn't know what Kratom was. It was labeled herbal and sold next to energy drinks, and it seemed like no big deal. That single purchase turned into dependence, which turned into addiction.
Here's what the packaging isn't telling you. Products prepared from Kratom leaves have a more concentrated compound called 7-OH, which has opioid-like side effects. That is what they're calling gas station heroin and legal morphine these days. And it's why Kratom is being banned across the country, including in Spokane, Washington, and LA County. And just like with marijuana, we're already hearing people whining about this because it helps manage pain. Well, the left tried to normalize and legalize pot smoking this way to some success. And now we're seeing how bad that really was and is for the country. And we're now supposed to go down the same path with this substance called Kratom. Here with more to explain this is Dr. Mark Siegel, Fox News senior medical analyst. Dr. Siegel, it seems like every time we have you on, we're talking about one of these scams that are being pushed online and in public advocacy for substances that are terribly dangerous and addicting, especially people.
Absolutely, and you already nailed it. The Metrogina plant actually is where Kratom comes from, and they make an artificial version called 7-OH that's 15 to 50 times more morphine. So here's how dishonest this is. Already said it, in California, with 3,300 products being removed from the market by Gavin Newsom, guess what he's doing? He's hand waving, right? I'll tell you why. Because there's 3 million users of Kratom in California. So how much is 3,300 products going to help anything? Hey, Governor Newsom, 3 million is the number. And guess what? If it's more powerful than morphine, why would you want anybody to use it for pain? And people try to use it to get off morphine when they then get addicted to Kratom or 7-OH, and there's a risk of overdose death, which is what's happening in California, which is why he's doing his hand waving. The only solution here is absolutely to go in the opposite direction, like we've been yelling about with cannabis. Stop saying there's a medical use here when it's medically dangerous. It attaches to the same mu receptor in the brain that heroin does, and it's more powerful. This is very, very dangerous.
And yet you go across the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia, you see these signs, plastered all over these storefronts. Kratom sold here, vape products, Kratom. It's everywhere. And kids believe that it's basically fine. I mean, they believe that. It's the same with vaping and all the other stuff, but this is obviously just as bad, if not worse.
Listen, I said 3 million in California. Nationwide, Laura, it's 15 million, and that's probably an underestimate. And a lot is going unreported because we're not testing it. You go to a doctor's office, we're not testing it. We're not testing for it on autopsies from overdoses. It's an untold epidemic, and as usual, you're putting the spotlight on it because we have kids. Because we're worried about our kids. It's selling next to the bubble gum in a gas station.
Oh, come on.
For what? A Snickers bar? And there's
Give me a break.
This has got to be stopped right now. And HHS is saying that 7-OH should be Schedule 1. I agree with them that there's got to be DEA enforcement on this. It's got per the FDA, no medical use whatsoever, period.
The whole thing should be
and
banned.
the FDA is not attacking
in the United States. There should be a ban of this. Thank you.
Should be a ban of. She ends it with there should be a ban of this. I mean,
but yet the FDA and the DEA stopped attacking Kratom in 2016 because it's got benefits and values.
Mm-hmm. And trying to.
I give them a day in my body for pain. I give them a day in my body for pain. I have grandkids
and kids that will not touch Kratom. They don't even want to be around me when I'm taking it because they don't like the smell.
Right.
No kid is going to willingly take pure leaf natural Kratom, period.
Agreed.
It doesn't taste good. Sorry.
And where are they getting this information from? Show me the receipts. Where are all these kids using Kratom? I'd like to know.
Yeah.
Yes, these people are full of crap. That's a great.
We're not seeing that. Like where? No. Like we're hearing people, oh, there's kids getting it. They're going into these gas stations and getting it. Where? Because
purely Kratom, not hardly.
Yeah. No. The kids are going in there to get booze and cigarettes, but they're not going in there for Kratom.
And energy drinks, which are just as dangerous, if not more so.
And what about when supposedly kids fell ill and went to the hospital and they blamed Kratom gummies without even really knowing? And then it turns out it was not. It was just candy. But did they retract it? No.
They don't retract
They never retract these things ever. So they put
it out there to scare
They put out to the
people.
public that kids are using Kratom and they're going to the hospital.
They did that in California. There was like, what did they say? A few deaths, and then
and it turned
they were
out
all proven that it was not Kratom.
Right, but they didn't retract it.
But they didn't retract it. It's like that man that was
Yeah.
killed by a gunshot wound,
Shot,
and it was
yep.
labeled kratom, and they
Yep.
never retracted that
Mhm.
though either.
That was the one that really encouraged Dr. Jane Babin, to write her white paper. When she saw that one, she said, I can take a lot of lies and a lot of stupidity in research. I cannot tolerate that.
Yeah. That was quite the news story. And that's Fox. That means it's out there far and wide, which is a real.
Well, we are going to be putting something up on our website, encouraging people to politely, kindly, professionally email these people and let them know the facts.
And we need that. And that's why we need your grassroots organization, Robin. Venus is really good about putting that information together, seeing articles and reaching out to the journalists. I know a lot of people in the community do that, but we need more awareness of who to do this, like how to do it, who to send it to. So that's just something we haven't had much of in the past. And I just think what a difference. Not only are we reaching out to legislators, but let's reach out to these journalists.
Right.
And we used to do that. Amanda, you were around back then when we were doing that.
Oh,
Every time a bad story would come out, we were on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what I do
these
is
guys
just
had
try
to
and
start
find
doing their
out.
job.
Mm-hmm. I just try whenever I see an article, and we have a lot that Jen posts on school, and I'll see if I can find the email address. And some of them you can't find them, and then just have an email to send into them, and they do respond. So I definitely reach out to them and tell them what you think is wrong with the article too, politely, right? And and they'll get back to you eventually.
And that's the thing, is as hot as every one of us got at that trash that was just promoted, when we speak to them, we have to be polite, we have to be considerate, we have to be professional. It's not easy, and believe me, I can say that with everything in me, because I want to be very nasty in return, but it serves no purpose. It just, if you're nasty, it just proves their point, not ours.
Right. Exactly. Let me play the next news story. This one is from somebody. We got some background noise coming from somebody. This one is out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I know Ohio has been in the news a lot lately, but I mean, just look at the start of that. Over-the-counter opioids.
Since 13 times more potent than morphine, threatens to be the next wave of the opioid epidemic.
Yeah, but that substance, 7-OH, continues to be sold over the counter at gas stations and vape shops in most states across the country. Tonight, Local 12's Dwayne Pullman investigates 7-OH, the push to make it legal, or illegal rather, and a debate about just pulling it off the shelves.
This man is an addict.
He'll always be an addict.
Stigma, he says, prevents him from showing his face. For 2 decades, he's battled to break free from drugs, including opioids.
Pills. First pills. Yep.
And heroin.
Do you still have the lines?
I do.
Scars?
Mm-hmm.
But none of those drugs, he says, is more powerful or more addictive than this, 7-OH, scientifically known as 7-hydroxymitragynine, a highly concentrated and potent derivative of kratom that, according to the FDA, is 13 times more potent than morphine. Yet in many states, it's still sold as pills or infused in drinks and candy over the counter at gas stations, convenience stores, and vape shops.
Right? I can pick it up on my way into work. How bad could this really be?
He says it took over his life.
I felt a full-blown opiate effect from it.
How much money were you spending?
$200 a day.
On
Wow.
7-OH?
Mm-hmm.
You were addicted to 7-OH.
It was harder to get off of than shooting IV heroin.
In July, at a news conference in Washington, Health and Human Services, FDA, and DEA all seemed to be on the same page.
Scientifically, by definition, it is an opioid.
The FDA had just formally requested DEA to classify 7-OH as a Schedule 1 controlled substance, the same classification as heroin.
Let's not allow another wave of the opioid epidemic to catch us blindsided.
8 months later, DEA has not yet announced a decision. Dr. Matthew Rosheim, an associate professor at the University of North Texas Health Science Center in Fort Worth, led a team that conducted a survey of stores, publishing in this study that Kratom products are widely available throughout the U.S.
Does that surprise you?
Absolutely, yes. It surprises me with how widely available it is, considering it's so hazardous.
13 states and the District of Columbia did not wait on the feds, enacting their own bans. Dr. Jeff Singer, a surgeon and senior fellow at the Cato Institute, a prominent libertarian think tank, does not agree with banning Kratom and 7-OH, saying making them illegal may do more harm than good.
All you're going to do is make the people who are still getting it have to go underground to get it.
That's already happening, the addict says, where 7-OH is being banned.
They're addicted to it. They have no idea what to do.
Still, he supports bans and making 7-OH illegal across the country.
Nothing like that should be available at a gas station.
Dwayne Pullman, Local 12 News.
And this story is just the start of our.
All right.
That's just it. It should not be available at a gas station.
Agreed.
We can all agree to that.
Yeah. A lot of us have been saying that for years.
Definitely. Yep.
And before it was the easily accessible potent extracts.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's 7-OH. You know, it's just.
Yeah. Just keep the plain leaf tea in there. That's all that I think
and
needs
if you're
to be
spending
in.
that much money, you do have a problem. And also, if it wasn't available for you to get on your way to work, what other things would you be doing to get your drug of choice? Would you be robbing, stealing?
To get your high.
Would you be lying? You're still going to do it if you're going to, you're going to do it. They're going to do it. So
personal responsibility.
All these stories are like nobody can control themselves, and I don't know,
I don't get it because it's like we're hearing all these news stories on Kratom and 7-OH, but it's like I've not heard a peep about xylazine, which is the new one that's out there. And that's killing a ton of people, fentanyl, xylazine, where are these stories about what really is going on out there and why people are still suffering on drugs from fentanyl, xylazine, prescription medications, where are all these stories? They're nowhere.
And didn't that at least benefit him in some small way in that he didn't have to go to the street with the needle or to get the actual heroin or contaminated with fentanyl or
a safer product?
That's what I mean.
Right.
So, I don't, yeah.
Liberate Outcast, what do you mean by that's not true? Which part of it? Because we're talking about a lot of different things all over the place. Just
people are going to use a substance the way they choose to use it.
Yeah.
And until we start holding each other accountable for proper consumption, proper education, proper knowledge, proper usage, we're going to encounter these issues. And it boils back to let's be responsible for ourselves. Be the adult in the room. And if you can't be an adult,
give us
be
a
adult
30-day
in the room.
supply of medication and we take it and they expect us to follow it as such. So why can't with alcohol, with cigarettes, anything they're like, follow, please don't exceed It says that on the packaging. That's a them thing. If they're exceeding what they should be exceeding, then they need to start working within themselves to say, hey, I've got a problem. I've got to work on me, because there's thousands, billions of us that have been utilizing this plant for decades. And here we are, like, I stopped for almost 2 full weeks straight because I went in for emergency surgery and I wanted to make sure that I was good to go. Didn't take the, medication after I left the hospital that they forcefully gave me. And here I am going, okay, like I had no withdrawals. I didn't have any of that. I was good, as
everybody knows, last weekend, part of the reason I wasn't on is I had to travel for a funeral. I had family watch me consuming Kratom. And about the third time I went to dose, somebody said, Robin, are you addicted to that stuff? And I looked at him, I said, okay, let's sit down and have a real conversation here. I said, one, have you seen me act in any way not natural to me? You've watched me take it. You've watched me afterwards. Have you seen me act in any way inebriated or altered state of consciousness compared to what I normally am? Well, no. I said, you want to know what I'm addicted to? You know, use the air quotes. They said, what? I said, I'm addicted to being able to get up out of bed every day. I'm addicted to being able to take care of my family, to take care of my dog, to go grocery shopping, to make a 700-mile trip in 3 days. Those are the things I'm addicted to. Am I dependent on Kratom to help me do those things? You're damn right I am. And I'm not ashamed to say that. Because without the Kratom, I'm in bed, period. I'm not up except to go to the bathroom and maybe eat a little bit. So am I addicted to Kratom? No, I'm addicted to living and having a life. I'm dependent on a botanical that is safe, that I can live without. Do I want to? No.
Mm-mm.
I don't like my life without Kratom. It's painful. It's uncomfortable. It hurts. It's not even possible many days. So you tell me, am I addicted? And several of them sat there and looked at me and went, wow. I said, yeah, that's reality of someone living with chronic, cyclical, severe pain. We aren't addicted to the substances we're consuming. We're addicted to having a life.
I agree.
And
I mean,
no
my
one
son
can ever
used to see me
fault
in
me for
bed.
that.
My son used to see me in bed, you know, because why? I would take my pain medicine. What would it do? It would make me tired. Can't drive around on the pain medicine, you know, or I was just in too much pain to move because I wasn't able to get the proper medication to treat my pain that I live with. And that was my son's childhood. Like, a lot of the time that we spent together was watching TV in bed because I was in too much pain to go do something. Or if he had like a baseball game or a basketball game, I couldn't sit through the whole thing on the bleachers. I started taking Kratom May 5th, almost 9 years ago. That's coming up. He graduated high school and then college, both at the end of May, which I sat through a 2.5 to 3 hour seminar on a bleacher. I would have never been able to do without Kratom. And that, like, my son's graduation wasn't even 3 weeks into, it wasn't in 3 weeks into my entire journey on Kratom. And I'm just like, I have my life back. I can experience things. I'm not sitting in bed. My son's a biochemist, you know, like, he's looked at the product I've taken, including the 7-OH that I've taken. He goes, oh, well, you know, they're studying this to be a pharmaceutical right now. How does he know? He's a biochemist. He sees it all. You know, they're studying MIT and they're studying 7-OH to become a pharmaceutical. What does that scream to people right now?
That they're going to get rid of anything that could stop them from making the money.
Its benefits, that it's helping billions of people. And here I am, over 50,000 pills that I've not had to consume. I'm off pain, anxiety, depression, blood pressure medication that I've all not had to consume. Just me alone, that's a lot of money in their pocket. You add the billions of us that aren't like me, just me and Madeline alone, I'm sure we pretty much line some people's pockets of our days, you know, because we were on a lot of pain medication to semi-function.
Yeah, great way of putting it.
Still in pain. Like, Grant, am I still in pain right now? Yes. Do I live in pain 24/7? Yes, but my pain is manageable. I could go to a concert with my son. It's going to wipe me out. But the fact that I can get up and go do it now where I couldn't before, there's no price on that. There's no pain medication out there. There's no pharmaceutical out there that's going to give me that. And now they see the benefits. Let's take it away because it's taking away from us versus allowing us to have our damn plants and leave it alone.
Right. And that's why I said, you know, I will gladly acknowledge that I am dependent on Kratom. It doesn't mean I have to have it. It means I can walk away, but that's going to be the last walking I do. because
Right.
I'm going to be back confined to bed. And that's not a life. Now,
Yeah.
I did that for 30 years. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm a 65-year-old great grandmother that has never even had a speeding ticket. And many of these states, I can't even go see family in because you have made it a felony for me to be in that state. No, I'm not playing that game. I will fight this every day of my life.
Yeah. So many
And
of us feel the same way.
yeah, the nonsense that they continue to keep spewing is what frustrates and irritates me so much. Because like I said, at least get a new story. Come on. The story you guys are repeating, regurgitating over and over and over again is old and tired. Find something new.
Right.
Can
Yeah,
I
and-
address the Liberated? I think she was in response to me, and all I meant was that someone in active addiction would go anywhere, not somebody who's trying to better themselves, or that would not be an absolute. It would depend on the person. But someone in active addiction, yes, they would. So I hope I didn't offend in any way. I mean, but I did want to address that.
yeah. Thanks
Somebody who is trying to recover would not. Somebody in active addiction would.
Right.
And we're all different. I mean, the thing is,
And
we're all
we're all
different.
different.
We use it for different reasons. Luckily for me, natural kratom powder works amazingly well. It works better than the pharmaceuticals ever did. I was 9 years in pain management, took Oxycontin, crazy amounts of Oxycontin, Percocets, and other pharmaceuticals every single day. Got relief, but not great relief, enough where I could still do stuff, but I would be almost bedridden quite a bit, and it was hard to do things. I could still drive, I could still do things. I didn't get real loopy or high crazy considering how much I was taking so much that like the average person would be knocked on their butt. But it's just we're all different with how our bodies.
And we are.
And
You know, a
I-
lot of
I
states are
think that
going
this-
through issues
I
too with
think
this.
that this was in response to the news clip, because I had only said that about the man who said, you know, with the news clip. So, but other than that, yeah, we're all different with anything that we take at any time.
Yeah.
I mean, people, if they stop for a second and look at all the places right now that are either banning kratom, banning 7-OH, you know, and putting it as a regulation. All of those states drastically had overdoses going down. And now that all this is banned, those are drastically climbing.
Yeah.
Drastically climbing in every single state that has banned 7-OH, because you know what? You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it, and you don't have to take it. But if it's saving people's lives off of fentanyl, heroin, xylazine, and saving people's lives, who are we to sit there and say you can't take it? This is a healthier alternative to them, and it's holding themselves accountable. And if they're not abusing it and they're alive, that right there, to me, I'm not going to argue that. That's someone's life that's saved. And
absolutely, I agree
know?
with that. Welcome, Debbie McCullough, for joining us on the live stream. Go ahead.
We have to get back to prohibition is not, never has been, never will be an answer.
Agreed.
Yeah. Did the 20s teach this country nothing? How many millions of people died because of prohibition? And now you want to do it again with kratom? Stop. Just stop.
And the reason why I do U7 is because kratom wasn't sufficient for my pain ever. I used it to offset narcolepsy, depression, anxiety, other symptoms, and kratom took the edge off for me. I use 7 because 7 takes more than the edge off, and I would like that for my life. So that's why.
But
she's
she's saying
I can't take the plant matter all the time with my Crohn's disease, and then
either.
sometimes my
Same.
pain is so high that I can't utilize the powder, because that's a lot of powder to consume. If I'm dosing, some days I dose one or twice a day, regular plain leaf.
Yeah.
Other days I could dose up to 6 times a day at 7.5 grams per dose. That's a lot of powder on the stomach. Can I take it? Yeah. Do I want to? No. If I could take a smidge, like a little nibble, a little 35 milligram bit of powder, and I'm good for 8 hours, that's a lot. To me, that's consumption safety versus, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to get, constipation. I'm not going to get any type of this issue from taking a smaller amount. And I'm getting a longer life of my pain relief from it,
Well, and the thing
if
is,
I can take 3 milligrams to 12,
right, which is different from what Cameron from Liberated Outcast. It's not even a comparison. This is not apples to apples. I understand what she's saying in the comments, because she also says it's not saving lives and people are dying. But you two here are examples of very low responsible use, how it's helping you with your chronic pain. Look, if Kratom powder was not working as well for me, I'd be doing exactly what y'all are doing. I'd be trying little bits of 7-OH to see if that would help me. It may work, it may not. But why should people demonize me? Come live in my shoes with my chronic pain. Right. Let's see how you feel. It's like, no,
and
believe me, you don't want to.
Liberated's point of view.
Absolutely. We all do.
I also,
she's very cool, by the way.
Yes, of course. And I enjoy her being here. But once again, we're all different. And so that's why. I'm able to sit here with you guys and help with these kids. When I met you on X-Space and Mike, when we were still with Mike, I was still off of my daybed in my house. I couldn't even get up and go to the other room.
I remember.
Yep, I remember that.
My feet and my legs are that bad. My back is just as bad. I don't like to go on every day and talk about pain and how bad my pain is and pain. I want to be able to be a part of life and leave pain to the side. But I'm in pain, and that's why I utilize both products.
I've seen the difference in you, Twinkle. It's
I appreciate
amazing
that.
to see how much of a difference it's helped you, and you talking about it to share your personal experience. People don't have to agree with it. And
nope, not at all.
But it's your personal life, and why should people come in and dictate what you can and can't do?
That's
when
right.
you're like, the thing is, I think one of the biggest issues we're seeing in the community is all of this pointing the fingers and blaming somebody like Twinkle or somebody like Amanda. Point the finger at the manufacturers. They're the ones that made it easily accessible. We all agree it shouldn't be so easy to access in the convenience stores. And if it's in a smoke shop, it should be behind the counter with some education. But it really needs to be done differently. And the manufacturer should not have called them drug names. I mean, perks and dopium, that's the most ridiculous thing. I'm going to yell about that all the time. I always do, because that is wrong. And the industry let that go on for several years. Why is there no government oversight? So I can go create a 7-OH product, call it perks, and go put it at a gas station, and I'm not going to get in trouble by the government for 2 years? Are you kidding me? And the other thing I don't like that these companies are doing, they keep escalating the dose. A year ago, we were all freaking out over how all of a sudden there were like 50 milligrams. I started at like 12 or 14 milligram tablets.
Right.
And going up and up. And I remember all of a sudden we're all like, oh my God, there's like 50 milligrams. Then all of a sudden there was 100 milligram tablets. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, that's the problem. That's where people should be saying this is wrong.
And another problem, in lieu of 7 and Kratom being banned, and especially 7, MGM is already rolled out and being offered as an alternative to 7. And now what are we going to do? So we're already divided. Nobody wants to work together. Maybe we should have, I'm not saying, maybe we should have just tried to go for strict regulation on Kratom, extracts, and 7, maybe, and then fought for what's coming now, because after 15 is going to be 16, and then after these things is going to be everything else, and these are not partially synthetic, they're fully synthetic.
And which is scary.
Stronger on the receptors, because then it's not just the mu receptor, it's also the delta receptor, and it's more of a full agonist rather than a partial. You understand what I'm saying? When we could have just regulated,
right,
and tried to regulate, and I never wanted to lose the plant in the first place. So, but MGM is out. 7 is getting gone, and it's going to continue to get gone, but MGM is out. MGM is out.
And that all boils back to, we have to be educated ourselves and we have to educate others. Because
yes, love, MGM
if that was
fully
taking
can get
place
it,
all this
correct.
time, we wouldn't be having a lot of the issues we're having. If we were holding our government officials accountable.
Right.
Do your jobs. You see that this could be a danger, then step up and do your job and make sure that people are educated about it, that it is regulated, that it is properly understood, and then back off.
Well said.
Don't try to ban a substance because, like you said, Twinkle, another one's waiting in the wings.
And
after
always
that
gonna be
one, another
one.
and another.
Yep. Yes, ma'am.
And that's a problem, and it's just going to keep happening. Like address this. Here comes Becca. Hey, Becca.
Hey, Becca.
Hey,
Good to
Becca.
see you.
Hi, Becca.
We got a full house today. I'm loving this.
Hey.
Got like a full house of the gals on International Women's Day. How exciting is this?
I was just gonna say everybody's here. So good to see you, my friends.
It's great seeing you all. This is the conversation's exploding in the chat. Liberate Outcast is saying, how educated is anyone here on 70H? I think Amanda probably has a lot to say about that.
Do what? I missed it. I'm sorry.
We're not.
I'm just
We're
like,
not.
oh, I just feel like it's an argument
Look,
sometimes.
let's get back to the
I
videos
missed-
because we have lots to
I missed the
watch. We have lots to
question.
watch.
I missed the question. What was the question?
How educated is anyone here on 70H? I don't want to like have this humongous debate because we still got lots to watch and things.
I wasn't
other
for
things.
70H to begin with because of what I was hearing was being,
Okay.
told by things and people. And then I took it upon myself to start following the science, looking at more than just, the one person that keeps getting mentioned, and constantly quoted, or the one group that keeps getting constantly quoted for all of their information. No, there's a ton of us out there that, started opening our eyes and looking further into it. And I'm not going to sit here and tell people what is right, what is wrong, but you need to start following yourself. If you want to know more, start doing more research, dig deep. Don't just go to a simple Google search, like Seven Hope Alliance has great things. Heart has great things. BAE has great things. AK even has some great things, but do the research yourself. Do it.
Actually,
Dr. Michelle
I have
Roche
to correct
has
you
a
on that,
lot of
Amanda.
information. There's a lot of good information out there. If people would be open to it and not so negative to shut it down, because I'm not out there going, alcohol has to be banned. I'm not out there getting, okay, you got in the car after you took a couple drinks behind the bar, or, I'm not sitting here ban it, but it's about accountability on your end. I can't tell you to stop taking it. You have to be accountable for yourself. So don't tell me to stop taking what I'm accountable for me and what is working for me and is very less harmful than the medication. Because again, I've been under the care of a doctor for the last 20 something years. My entire Kratom use and 70H use has been under the care of a doctor. I have organ scans on a regular basis. I have blood work done on a regular basis. And minus my emergency surgery that I had a week ago, a little over a week ago, I'm great. Like, I am the healthiest I have been in my entire adult life. That, to me, for someone to want to take that away from me, like, shame on you. Like, shame on you. I don't wish anyone pain, but take a day and walk in my shoes. And go off of what the doctors are allowed to give you. And then, hey, try what I'm doing. See what works for you. You know what I'm saying? This works for me. Don't tell me.
And if it doesn't work for somebody, then never take what isn't working for you or what you.
I would not be alive today without the plant. Flat out. I was taking, look, it's been almost a decade. So almost at this point, I stopped counting like 4 or 5 years into it. So I'm probably close to 100,000 pills at this point. Like, my organs were trash. My blood work was trash. I've been reversing damage after 30 years of pain medication and pharmaceuticals. But it's bad for me.
Real quick though, because another thing she was asking is like to please share the science and research. It doesn't like Seven Hope have all that on their website. Where's the best resource?
Yeah, Seven Hope has it, and then I have files and files on my own between research that I've been looking into, ChatGPT for trying to get or Perplexity trying to get up-to-date information, but I'm not a 7.0 advocate like they're putting on me. I use it.
You're a consumer.
And I'm going to go fight for regulation. I'm a consumer, an independent consumer advocate, and I'm not like, I would never tell somebody to go take 7.0, and I would also never tell them specifically go take Kratom. There are options out there. You have to research and decide for yourself. If it doesn't work for you, don't take it. If tea is sufficient, you don't need more.
We can point you in the direction, but we can't tell you to believe what I believe, or what Robin believes.
Correct.
Go do it's out there. We're giving you the tools, use them. That's why the internet is available for people. Start utilizing it. There is 7 Hope, BAE, Heart, Dr. Michelle Ross. There's a lot of information that's going to be coming out on, a lot of people that have done studies. There's more people that are doing studies. Just because it's not out there in the public eye right now doesn't mean it's not being done.
It's not being done, right?
It takes time in order to do these studies. It's all coming out.
Now we have a lot on Kratom, but we didn't 15 years ago or 10 years ago. And I've been taking Kratom. I first started Kratom in 2009. So I have taken it off and on over the years. I just didn't use it on a regular basis until 7 years ago. So I'm familiar. I was always in the background, keeping an eye and even posting on Facebook for over 10 years that today I try to Vietnam or today I try to, this or that. I still have those posts, but, and now it would take time for the same thing to happen with 7.0. I mean, that's just
one thing I need to say real quick. Yeah, one thing I need to say real quick. I do not believe, none of us at BAE believe in prohibition. We believe in education regulation, but we do not speak on 7.0H simply because when we built our org, we want to advocate for pure natural botanicals. 7.0H does not fall within that bailiwick, therefore we don't speak on it, but we're also not going to tell someone that they can't have it. That's an individual choice. So what the ladies are saying is amazing. And the one thing I keep hearing is the education ability is there. And these ladies are all pointing people in the direction of where they can find more information. And that's what's key. That's part of what we say, what we mean when we say we have to be educated. Even if that means pointing you to Heart Association or 7 Hope Alliance or one of those organizations that have more information than any of us may have.
It's a really hot topic, that's for sure.
It is.
But it's important to have these discussions and hear different points of views because, a while back, we just heard all the negative. We heard the negative stories. I've had countless numbers of people go into my DMs and telling me their horrific story of being misled as to what 7.0H was, and then they got hooked on it and they couldn't stop. These were not pain patients, though. That's the thing.
Well, 7.0 is weaker
patients.
than MGM, that's for sure. So, I mean, I don't know,
But I totally understand. I don't want anybody to be suffering. But I started hearing more and more stories of people with severe chronic pain that were doing like what Twinkle would be telling us, like taking little nibbles in addition to the powder. And then like, wow, this is helping me tremendously. It's not making me high. I don't feel addicted to it. It's not being abused. And then I started hearing more and more stories like that. Now, being that I come from the pain community, I am always going to be very sympathetic to anybody who suffers in pain. I still suffer in pain, but luckily Kratom works really well for me. When it wears off, I'm back at square one in incredible pain. If I wasn't getting the great relief, So what? I'm a bad person because I want to try a little bit of 7-OH. What if I want to try a lot of 7-OH? That's on me. That's a me thing. So it's highly debated. I get it. And this is the kind of conversation that can go on and on. We have these conversations all the time here. And that's why I love having Amanda and Twinkle here to hear this other perspective with it, because it's helping to educate.
I'm just out here trying to help and save my own life, just like other people are.
Exactly. And in the process, you're sharing your story.
And that's just it. That's all there is to it, period. Just, so.
Exactly. But, the thing is, though, there are advocates who think because we have these discussions that means we are pro 7-OH, those of us that don't consume it. I sure like to know, where have I ever said I am pro 7-OH and I advocate for 7-OH? Because people go around saying that. And I'm like,
I know.
Where have I said that? I say I sympathize with the chronic pain person who is suffering and
dismiss people and abandon them like they've already been abandoned from their doctors, and say if you're being safe with it, using it responsibly, and you're accountable, then you could, people are out here dying of suicide and from pain.
Right.
And being abandoned and not having access to care and all these other things. If there is something out there that can relieve them in the meantime, until they can afford insurance, until they can get to a doctor, until a pain management doctor will treat them again without putting multiple injections in them and doing the ablations and all these other things that's going to decay their spine over time. And I know because it's already happened to me as well. Let people just take care of themselves. I just can't fathom what is wrong with that. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And Twinkle, I applaud you, because it takes a lot of courage to stand up in front of people you don't even know and say, this is what I do for me. And that takes courage, and I applaud you daily for that.
Me too. Liberated, I'm not talking about you specifically. There are other Kratom advocates who say that. Not talking about anybody in this discussion. I should have been more clear. No, there are Kratom advocates who say all kinds of crazy things that are not true. So
they lump like myself, I know, like myself and Venus, we get it from a reputable source. We get it from someone that's doing lab testing, doing proper GM. Twinkle, sorry. Yeah, sorry. But it's like we get lumped into the people that are buying the Roxys or the stuff from the gas station. Yeah. I have never once gone to a gas station and purchased 7-OH. I haven't gone to a smoke shop and purchased 7-OH.
And I've never purchased more than the 10 milligram or the 12 milligram tablet. And I've been taking it 2 years, depending on the flares or depending on the pain. I take anywhere from 3 to 12 milligrams a day now. That's what I still am continuing to take. I have taken as much as 2 12 milligram tablets, 24 in a day. That is not my regular day. That is the higher days, but I'm still between 3. I'm still, throughout the day. So, and it's been 2 years. And when people come at me and say, well, wait until you're on it for any length of time. Let's see if you're at 60 or 80 or 100. No, ma'am. No, sir, I am not. So if I ever get there, I will assure everybody that is my responsibility, and I will be accountable for what happens to me and any withdrawal that I have to deal with, because as of yet, I haven't had any issues, not with Kratom and not with 7 as of yet. So I'll keep it as of yet until I get to that time, and we'll see. Blah, maybe. Pain return, maybe. None of the other stuff that is out saying that people are vomiting and all these things are happening. That might be happening to someone. I will not take that away, but that is not happening to me. So you don't get to put me in a category that things are happening to someone else, because we're not the same. So
yeah. All right. We're going to move on to some videos.
Yeah.
But don't always mean for us to get, into this conversation. And also, just an FYI for those watching us live and commenting, also just know, because sometimes it may look like some of the things people are saying is out of context of what it's not in real time. Y'all, when you're watching a live stream, and this is anywhere you're online. There's always a little bit of a delay. It's just the way it works. So it might be a 10-second delay from when we say something and you're commenting. It could be 30 seconds. So sometimes.
And I'm not angry. I'm defensive. I'm passionate. I'm very passionate about what is working for me and what is working for people that I know it's saving their lives.
Right, because I'm not defensive. I'm not, I'm not defensive. I'm just saying what works for me, period.
We're very passionate because this is, I would not be alive today without Kratom and 7. I would not. Like, I live with the suicide disease alone. That's just one painful condition. I have 10 out of 20.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I would not be here with the pain levels that I live in.
Let's move on. But the thing is, we're not stopping the 7OH conversation, but I want to show something because when we were all here last, when Amanda and Robin were here with us, which was our famous February 14th episode that has double the views of any of our other episodes. So woohoo. Thank you, people, for being so interested in what did we actually say that must be so bad that turns out it wasn't. Anyway, so one of the things I brought up that somebody in the community totally took out of context is about the whole pool shock thing. And I want to kind of explain this because it got brought up in that episode, the pool shock conversation. And what I had done right after that episode is I did more of a deep dive because I've heard from others about it has to do with the chemical extraction and the process. And I wanted to learn more about it. And so I did. I just haven't had a chance for us to have this discussion, but I find it fascinating. But here's the thing. When I'm talking about pool shock, or I hear other people talking about pool shock in reference to 7OH, for me personally, it stems from Dr. Christopher McCurdy when he came on the Kratom Gals a year ago today. Did you know? A year ago today. It was March 7th. It popped up in my thing in TikTok. Yeah. So yeah, because this video and the memories popped up my TikTok. It was me walking my dog very early in the morning. And I said something funny about something like getting up early like a birdie for Dr. McCurdy, because we had to interview him. He could only do it live. Like I made it live. We wanted to interview him, but I wanted to live stream it. And it was like early in the morning. So, but yeah, that was a year ago today. Well, the thing I've been wanting to show y'all for weeks now is when I talk about pool shock, it stems from this very first time McCurdy mentioned it. And I think this is the first time a lot of us ever heard it was when McCurdy started saying it. So it's a short 1-minute clip I'm going to play for y'all where he does mention it. And it was hearsay. So listen to what he says. I'm going to play this, and then I want to explain a little bit about my deep dive into learning more about this. And I think it just goes back to education. I think it's important for us to learn more about this because when we hear pool shock, it's like optics. And it sounds so bad. And what do we? I mean, the visual for me is, oh my gosh, they're putting the pool shock chemicals in it, and I don't think of the shaman guy. What's his name? I'm blanking on his name now. The one that makes the 7OH. The guy.
Is that the American? I just know
the American shaman.
Shamans, I think,
so
maybe?
Apparently that guy's been on record saying yes, we do use pool shock. Because this was brought out recently in a webinar pointing the finger at how I said something about all of this as if I'm mocking, a lobbyist. And it's like when I talk about pool shock, I'm specifically thinking of McCurdy. Let me play this. So whenever y'all hear me talking about it or I hear it anywhere, this is what I always think of. I personally have not heard some of these other people talking about pool shock. So to be accusing of mocking somebody with that is don't understand how that came about. So let me play y'all this short little clip.
To actually get 7-hydroxy from the leaf material is factually impossible in a commercial viable way. So the only way that can be produced is synthetically, or what we call semi-synthetically. And so what we think is happening is, there are concentrated extracts now where you can get 45%, 75%, even up to 90% mitragynine or mitragynine content within those extracts. And so they're taking enriched extracts with mitragynine, and then they're doing chemical oxidation on that. What we have heard, and I do not have confirmation of this, but it makes perfect sense to me, is they're actually using commercial pull shock to do the oxidation, and then they use large batch of baking powder to basify that and then extract the alkaloids that are converted and then packaged.
Okay, so that's where this came about. This is where I first heard it here. And whenever it comes up in conversation, that was the very first time I ever heard it. Venus, you were there with me. Was that the first time you remember hearing it?
Yeah, that's the first time I remember hearing it too.
So I just want to explain, and this was something I was going to show anyway. It had nothing to do with this whole finger pointing thing, but and thanks for the Vince Sanders. That's who I was thinking of. So apparently Vince Sanders has said, yes, that's what we use. And it's like, okay, doesn't matter to me, because for me, it's not here or there. After we had the episode on February 14th and we were talking about pull shock, I'm like, I want to learn more about this whole oxidation thing. Because some people have talked with me on social media saying it's easy to say pull shock, but it's this oxidation process. So I'm just trying to educate myself. This is not me defending or not defending. It's just, I personally want to learn more about this. So let me kind of explain some of the things that I've learned when it comes to this whole pull shock thing in 7-OH, because it sounds very alarming, right? I mean, it does for me. It gives me a mental image in my head when I hear that. So when they're saying pull shock, they're actually referring to an oxidizing agent. He said that in the video, an oxidizing agent. So in chemistry, oxidizers are commonly used to convert one compound into another. It's not unusual. It's not underground. That is basic chemistry. And so they use sodium hypochlorite, which is sold in stores, as pull shock or bleach. But in a laboratory, it is considered an oxidizer. It is a chemical tool used during a reaction step. It's not the final product. And that's where the framing with this, I feel, is really important, because it's the difference between describing a chemical reaction accurately and describing it dramatically. And I think we just keep hearing this dramatic, discussion about it. If people say an oxidizing agent is used in a controlled reaction and then neutralized and purified out, that sounds like chemistry. And that's what they're doing. But if people say they use pull shock, that sounds like someone is dumping pool cleaner into a supplement. That's what I think of.
Right.
When McCurdy, if you watch me carefully in that video, when McCurdy said pull shock, I was making a face and kind of shaking my head no. It's like, oh my God, because the visual it puts in your head. And I'm thinking, wow,
it gives you that visual of how street drugs are being done right now.
Right,
that's where my mind went, because when they're like
scary
pull
is.
shock and like baking soda, I'm thinking like meth and cocaine, that just sounds like that type of stuff, and that's not this at all.
Yeah, so it's interesting to, with me doing this deep dive and just trying to educate myself more on that. So it's one thing if manufacturing is being done irresponsibly, and that's going to be a legitimate concern. But when there's testing, purification standards, and regulations, like that's what's important. So the real question isn't whether a chemical reagent existed at some point in the reaction. All of our meds, all our pharmaceuticals are done like that. The question is, was the final product properly purified? And that's why anything that we buy as a supplement, you want to make sure it's tested. You want to make sure it's regulated and labeled accurately. So that's the thing. I don't know. When I hear the whole pull shock thing, I'm just glad I'm learning, and I wanted to share this learning that I've had. And constantly in the news, we hear about gas station heroin. Well, that's been the phrase they use all the time to talk about kratom, all kinds of kratom and 7-OH. But, we keep hearing the pull shock thing more and more. So I'm glad I've educated myself so I understand more. It doesn't It doesn't mean like if Vince Sanders, who my understanding, I don't know for sure, but my understanding from what I've read and heard is that he's one of the biggest 7-0 manufacturers. Now, if he's going around saying, yes, we use commercial pull shock to make our 7, okay.
I'll say take a minute. Take a minute, do a
that.
quick Google search. Put what toxic chemicals are found in Cheerios.
Oh, tell us.
Yeah.
Tell
I
us.
can't even chloramate, chloride, and
Cornflakes.
glyphosate. These pesticides are used in
Yeah.
farming and have been linked to potential health risks, including reproductive, developmental, and cancer-related issues. And these are things not only most adults eat, but you're giving them to your children.
That's
so
right.
before you eat something, are you looking at everything? Well, right now, before I'm consuming my Kratom, I did my research. And because of the two plant, the plant and extract that I'm taking, I'm now looking at every freaking thing that I'm eating out there because it's disgusting. It's disgusting what is on these shelves. Take a moment before you start criticizing people that are trying to do something for themselves that's benefiting. Before you're lumping me into somebody that's doing the gas station heroin, the stronger than morphine, stop. Do your research and realize that, you know what, like, it's not as bad as what's being put out there for the narrative.
And Lois is correct, and I've said it several times. Every extract requires an extract method in order to do the extract process. And so many of our supplements and products out there,
supplements, marijuana concentrates.
Product, but you have exactly.
Well, what about Kratom extracts? That you're having to do that too.
Yep.
Let's go real basic. What about bread? People that in this country cannot eat the bread because of gluten issues can go to Europe and eat theirs with no issue.
Yeah, our food is terrible in the United States. So many people like outside of the United States, like they come here, it's like, we're obese, we've got this, we've got all these health problems. And then you go there and it's like, wow, their food is fantastic. And nobody's like, like they're not having the problems that we are here, with like some of the foods. I mean, Becca and I know with a lot of stuff, we've got to be very careful with what we put into our bodies because like we've got Lyme, we have a lot of issues.
And then the other countries are coloring their food with carrot juice for the same color, so I mean, it's just weird. And you can think that you're eating clean here and it's still dirty because it still has all kinds of, so
long time ago, I had a friend who has celiac, undiagnosed. She's a nurse too, undiagnosed celiac disease for like over 10 years, right? Goes out of the country on a vacation for 1 week. The best she's felt eating, no issues, comes back immediately sick. She finally figured as a nurse, and talked to the doctor and is finally got diagnosed with celiac because of the gluten and stuff. I'm really careful what I eat. I've been a vegetarian for a very long time now. And I've been starting to get a lot more aware of the bread. I love bread. And I've just really educated myself. And what I buy now is the super healthy without all the crap in it. And it's not always the best. When I tried it years ago, I did not like this bread, but I've conditioned myself to like it. So I've been getting that Ezekiel you get in the freezer section, and I'm learning to like it. And I just know this is real bread. And here's what's funny, y'all. So somebody did a TikTok video recently talking about how your bread, with the crap they make it with, it's like a sponge. And this lady has her bread like a Wonder Bread, I think it was, that a lot of people give their kids, and would have the water in the sink on it, right? And then she squeeze it like a sponge and then go right back to normal. And it was truly a sponge. It was disgusting. And when I'm eating this Ezekiel bread now, it's trying to fall apart while I eat it. And I'm like, thank God. You're eating real food. But it is important, the food we put in our body.
I learned so much a couple of weeks ago with my cousin, who is a huge botanist person, and learned about seeds. Things I never knew before about seeds. Even the plants that we're planting to try and grow our own fruits and vegetables, unless you're going through a reputable company and doing so much work to get those seeds ready, even the foods we're growing in our own gardens are not good because they've been modified. They're GMO. They've got all these other issues. So all of that falls back into, we have to educate ourselves. We have to know what we're putting in our body, no matter what it may be.
Yeah. Liberated is saying she's on the 7 Hope website and there's no studies or evidence cited to support their claims. Can somebody give her the sources that you mentioned? What other sources are there? I'm sorry, they don't have stuff on their website for that? Or not yet? Do y'all know? Amanda?
The what was the question? Sorry, I was reading one of the comments in here trying to
about the 7. She's on the 7 Hope website. Let me go back to. She's on the 7 Hope website, and she's not seeing any studies or evidence.
They're still getting all that up there, but I do know that that's why I said there's still stuff that's coming out. There will be stuff that will be coming out, but follow 7 Hope, because that's where a lot of the stuff is that I know of that's going to be coming out with some scientific studies, and a lot more information is coming. But it takes time to get this stuff out there, and people are wanting it right now. And it's like, I mean, Robin can contest. She's working on, stuff with BAE, and it's very time consuming, and we can't, people can't get stuff out there as fast as, like that. It takes time. Right. If you want the right information out there, you've got to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's before you put all that out there. So I know that it will be out there soon.
I sure like to see all that.
Because you guys haven't been doing it very long. And the things that has been put together with 7 Hope is just so amazing already that
they're a great,
surprised
fantastic organization.
Yeah.
Can you type out the other sources you mentioned? She's asking. Can you just put it in the chat? She said, can you help me find the research you did before you started the 7.0?
Well, that's about 3 years ago now, 2023. I can start digging to where exactly I started, but I mean, I don't know the exact one that I started with. That was 2023. So
well, you also talk to a lot of people and gather information, like probably a lot.
I do. It's not just me too. Like I talk to scientists, I talk to doctors, I talk to consumers, it's like, but I'm not giving out any information that's verbatim word for word, because that's not my place. I don't work for any organization. I'm a loudmouth consumer for myself and for others, because I believe we should have access to things that are good for us and make, our lives a lot more manageable.
No, I totally agree. Also, Angela and Christopher are both saying like Dave's Killer Bread is awesome. And let me tell you something really interesting. So I've been eating like that Dave's Killer Bread for quite a while, but it's expensive now. It's driving me nuts how crazy expensive it is. But, so there's that, I'm trying to think of the guy, I'm blanking on the guy's name, and he has an app too, and he's real popular. He goes to the grocery stores and Bobby something. And it's like, he has an app called like Bobby, what is it? I can't remember the name of his app. Anyway, he tells you which foods are like healthier when you're at the grocery store. It's called Bobby Approved. I love this app, but his YouTube is awesome. So I've been watching more of his videos. Just look up Bobby Approved. And he's been doing these ones on bread. And so the Dave's Killer Bread I was buying, he was showing like, okay, of all the Dave's Killer Bread, only one of them does not have sugar in it. And I didn't pay attention to that before. And I'm like, well, the amount of bread I eat, I should probably eat a healthier one. So out of all the different Dave's Killer Bread, the one with the red wrapper that has the red in it, that's the one. That's the only one that does not have sugar in it. So I started buying that one, been using that one for a while, but it's so expensive now everywhere. And I'm just so fed up. So I found one in the freezer section I liked somewhere. I think it was Whole Foods, and it was way cheaper and it was good. But then the last time I was at Whole Foods, they didn't have it. But Ezekiel is everywhere. I see that in the freezer section at all grocery stores. And so it's a little bit pricier, but I don't think it was as pricier as Dave's. But I want to eat stuff that is as healthy as can be. That's for me personally. And that's another thing that's great here is we all learn from each other. And it's cool seeing how many other people are talking about Dave's Killer Bread, because it is good. Their bread's good. So, all right, let's get back to videos. So, because speaking back of McCurdy, so he was on a podcast recently that's called Oh Gross. It's a funny name. It's these two ladies that do this podcast, Oh Gross, and they did one talking about Kratom a while back, and their videos didn't get very many views, but the one on Kratom did, right? So then they went and got McCurdy on. And it's a really interesting interview they did. It's over an hour long. I've watched the whole thing. I wanted to play some of it for y'all if that sounds good, because it's just part of us educating ourselves and learning more and seeing, the conversation that's being said about Kratom and about 7-OH. So I think what I'm going to do, there was two different parts I wanted to play. The first one is a bit long. Maybe I'll start with the 7.0 one because he does have like a whole conversation on 7.0H. I think I'm going to play that one first because we'll for sure have time for that. I just want to make sure we have time to watch as much as we can before, we're ready to go. Does that all sound good to y'all?
Sounds good to me.
So this was an episode that came out a few weeks ago on the Oh Gross podcast. Actually, they have a brand new episode of Oh Gross there's that new Kratom documentary. It's not available everywhere. I think so far it's been in a film festival. This lady, her son, saying her son died from Kratom. And so somebody made a documentary about it. And so they just had her on this week. But let's watch the McCurdy episode because I found it pretty interesting. And if y'all want me to stop anywhere, if you want to interject and say something, just say something and I'll stop the recording.
But what we're hearing in the news right now in the debate is 7.0H, right?
That's where we need to get to, because we've gotten to the point, which was a big fear of ours as scientists, understanding that 7.0H or 7-hydroxymitragynine, which is actually a pure mu opioid receptor agonist. It activates the mu opioid receptor just like morphine or fentanyl or heroin or any other prescription or illicit opioid does.
So you're saying, just so everybody, the layperson understands. So you're saying this concentration is, your brain is going to react the same way as if you took one of those other drugs.
That's correct.
Like an opiate.
That's correct.
Just so everyone understands.
It is pure opiate in nature.
Mm-hmm.
Many people thought that the plant itself was pure opiate in nature in the very early days in the literature, and our group was one of the first groups to really unwind and start to understand the other pharmacologies. But we can come back to that. But let's focus right now on the 7.0H. We also recognized that 7.0H, we weren't detecting it in fresh leaf materials that were hard to. Once we got to study leaf material in Malaysia in particular, which is where we really started to collaborate with scientists. Now we collaborate with Indonesian scientists, Malaysian and Thai scientists, which is essentially, I would say, where 95+% of all kratom is growing and into the marketplace. There is some local growth now in the United States as well, but the majority of it was there. And what we were finding was there was either trace amounts of 7.0H or none that we could detect in fresh plant material. We also started to see that even in the dried powders, in the leaf powders that were in the US marketplace. And we think that it was because there was a faster turnover in the marketplace. And so what we've realized is that when a leaf is picked from the tree, as soon as it's picked from the tree, it's kind of like cutting part of your arm off. You're going to bleed, right? And so that leaf bleeds, and that exposes its inner fluids to the outer environment and the oxygen and the sunlight and all those types of things. And that's where we believe that 7.0H is formed. And that's why we still see it in very trace amounts in leaf products. Now, our body metabolizes mitragynine, which is the major alkaloid in the plant material and is the major alkaloid that's synthesized by the plant. Our body does metabolize it to 7.0H, but it does it in a small amount, so 10 to 20%, and we still don't really have a good handle on that with clinical studies as to exactly what that percentage is. But again, it's in context with all the other chemicals in the plant. It's not by itself. So you have things that are kind of, people would understand the entourage effect with cannabis, right? So you have things that are kind of counteracting each other and battling each other as it's in the body. The same thing I believe is happening with kratom leaf products. So you're getting activation of some systems in your body, deactivation of others, and things that are kind of dampening some effects or enhancing other effects. I call it like a mixing board of sound with the different pharmacologies that are happening. But what was done was these concentrates that we talked about, these very highly concentrated alkaloid preparations that were made, were just treated with chemicals to oxidize them, just like our liver would do to oxidize them. They treated with chemicals, and they did a chemical reaction to produce now predominantly 7-OH. But the one thing that everyone seems to ignore in this discussion is that they had a concentrated product and they oxidized everything in there. So yes, the predominant thing in that concentrated product they started with was mitragynine, but there was other alkaloids present, and they oxidized everything in that mixture into compounds that, quite frankly, are unknown and unnatural. And that's where the other piece of the public health issue comes into play, because we have no idea what this new created product is, other than what the major thing is that's present, which we know is pure opioid. And so that's where sort of the double-edged public health concern came from. One is you have availability of an opioid, which arguably, and we can talk about this as well, arguably could be a bit safer of an opioid, 7-OH, than something like morphine or fentanyl or oxycodone.
If it was regulated with proper people
Exactly.
distributing it.
If we understood, one, it's pharmaceutically produced and pure.
Right.
Two, if we understood exactly how the dosing should be and how much people should use and how it should be given, and a physician should be monitoring all of that.
Right.
And unfortunately, the way that it got the way that it was introduced into commerce bypassed all of those processes, including any regulatory processes. There could be residual solvents, there could be residual reactants in those products.
And 7-OH is the one we're hearing about, but there are other concentrations, correct?
Yes.
Because I know that was a lot of our comments was, well, as long as you don't take 7-OH, you're fine. Is that true, Dr. McCurdy? Because are there?
So what we're finding, unfortunately, there's two other products that we know of that have been put into the marketplace. One is called mitragynine pseudoindoxil, which does not exist in the plant at all. However, it is generated in our bodies as a metabolite of 7-OH.
Okay.
So, but in extremely small amounts.
Okay.
In amounts that are probably negligible to having any kind of effect when you take a whole leaf kratom product.
I'm going to stop there at that spot. Interesting conversation, isn't it? With 7-OH.
Very.
Super interesting. Any thoughts on anything he said, or do we play another part? There was another segment in here that I thought was really good as well. So let me cue that up. And thank you for everybody that's here with us today. Always a great conversation.
Yeah. Thank you. I love talking to everybody in the chat.
Thank you all.
Yeah, it's always.
You guys.
I know, Becca.
Quiet today.
That's okay. Well, there's a lot going on here today. Do you have anything you'd like to say about anything?
No, I was just listening to how he was describing the oxidation process and all of that and how it relates to what you were explaining earlier. And yeah, I just thought that was a very interesting clip, and he always speaks very he always breaks things down very well for everybody.
He does. He explains things really well. That's why I was so thrilled when we had him on last year. It was, pretty exciting to just hear, to hear from somebody that researches it. And
That he's been a big star in the community for as long as I've been around, since 2013, 2014. So it's always cool to hear from him.
Yeah. Angela says, I want all 6 of you ladies to keep doing this show.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you,
That's so
Angela.
kind.
Thank you, Angela.
We appreciate
you.
you so much.
I ain't going nowhere. Thank you. We appreciate you. Mwah.
We do.
It's nice having a platform for us to do this, you know, and at least we don't get in trouble just having these discussions on YouTube. YouTube they all have a lot of censorship, but it really apparently depends on what we're talking about and what we're saying and things. And I think as long as you're not showing products, you're not trying to sell products or anything that goes like in that direction, but just having discussion. The first time I got in trouble with YouTube last year was so funny. They never tell you exactly what you did wrong, but I figured it must have been because I, was thanking some of the brands that are aligned with my mission of education and advocacy. They don't pay me to say anything about them, but I like doing goodwill. That goes back to my 30 years in digital marketing. It's just a goodwill thing I always like to do with anything that I personally use and I get great value out of. I want other people to know about it. And so one time they took down one of my videos and told me something about the guidelines. I wasn't following the guidelines. And then all of a sudden this thing pops up on my phone and I had to take a little test from YouTube. And they did all these scenarios and like, what would you do if so-and-so said this, this, and this? And a lot of it was drug related and talking about like drug stuff or buying or selling or all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, is this because I mentioned a couple of brands and they don't like this and they think I'm trying to sell it? I don't know. They're just not ever clear telling you what you did wrong. TikTok's the same way too. So since, I don't mention any companies, I don't seem to get in trouble as much. Every once in a while, they'll still take something down. They don't tell you why. But I love that we can do this here and have these conversations because they're so incredibly important.
Mm-hmm.
And hearing other people's points of views.
That's important, I think, as well. Like hearing, from everybody's side.
Yeah. And it'd be nice if there were, other discussions going on. How many millions of Kratom consumers are there? Lots, right?
24 million is what GKC has attributed.
More Kratom podcasts out there.
I mean, I know I'm super techie and I was already doing all this, live streaming, podcasting. I've been doing that for the first time I'm seeing all this stuff come up in my Facebook memories. I started live streaming back when I used to do stuff in the music business from 2010 because it keeps popping up. And this one post the other day is like posting about how because back in 2010 it wasn't easy to live stream with the equipment, and I was like posting about going to Best Buy to try to figure out how I can live stream this show coming up, and that was like early days of live streaming. And so I just have all this experience of how to do all these things and bringing people together. I've been building online communities since my first one was 30 years ago in January 1996. But it'd be nice to see other people. And I'm happy to show anybody that wants to learn more how to do this stuff. I would love to see more conversations. However, asterisk, there's no need to live stream while we're live streaming. Here's a Saturday show that's been going on every Saturday for well over 2 years. There's 168 hours in a week. And sometimes you see somebody live streaming during the same 2 hours we are. I'm like, really?
Yeah, pick a different day,
a
different hour.
That's so creative. It says lots, but it would be great to see more live streamings or uploading recordings of just anything to just help spread more education and awareness. It's so needed.
And I love supporting the different podcasts and things like that. Anything anybody is putting out, education. But so I love that. But we have to, like you said, it would have to be different times so we could all come and watch and support you too.
I so appreciate it. So Facebook has censored y'all for sharing the Kratom Gals on there?
Oh my, we are so censored. That's why I made a post. If I disappear,
Wow.
this is how to reach me, because we can't even post in groups we own.
No, they're on a rampage again. Like I know quite a few, advocates that I talk to in Facebook chats. They've got posts going down from like 2016, 2018. And that's where I'm like, yep, Becca and Veronica dealt with that. I've dealt with that. I've lost, we lost our Wonderland group a year and a half ago because of this, a lot of people are getting targeted again because a lot of people think, oh, they're reporting. It's a lot of the Facebook bots. The algorithms are
It's
just
the AI.
the word kratom is targeted as a drug on Facebook, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of people are being targeted. They're getting Facebook reports. It's just we freedom of speech is not freedom of speech these days anymore. It's like we forget that we have that right, an amendment to have freedom of speech, but yet we keep getting shut down on our freedom of speech. It's like you say anything that's true going on in the world right now, and it's like, nope, let's silence you. You're not allowed to talk.
Right.
And the thing is, because it is an owned platform by someone, we aren't guaranteed freedom of speech, so he can do what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, day before yesterday, I got dinged for a post from 2018 and 2021.
Yep.
That were made on pages we own.
But yet there's, Facebook pages that are out there business.
Yeah.
And pay into it.
Yeah,
And they have no problem, making sales, doing whatever it is that they want to do because they're paying into Facebook.
Right. Yeah, and what's funny is these pages are archived. You can't even see them. And yet they're dinging Angela and I for accounts from back then. And heaven forbid if we put up Kratom Gals or a picture with Kratom in it, even if we spell it differently. Because for years we refused to do that.
This is why everybody should join us at kratomrealtalk.com. There's no
Come on,
censorship.
school.
There's no censorship. Come to the school community. I've had it there for 2.5 years. And it's a place where we can have discussions without any fear of censorship. It's not like social media where they dictate that, where we can't have these discussions. So come join us over there. It's free to join. I have so many resources, information. That's where we're going to have our special webinar next Wednesday for anybody that just got here. I mentioned it at the start a few hours ago when we first got here and started this chat. Over at kratomrealtalk.com next Wednesday, March 11th at 5 o'clock Eastern, I'm going to be hosting a webinar with Sarah Pita from Mitrospec, who's been here on the Kratom Gals several times. She's also been on my Kratom Stories podcast. Her and I are just going to teach a really just basic intro to Kratom type of webinar, answer questions. But it's like this, but it's private because it'll be in school. But there is a live chat box. So those of you that are all, Kratom consumers, come join the conversation, help answer questions if you know anybody that's looking to learn. This is not any kind of sales thing. It's just trying to just get more education out there and helping people. And I'm very passionate about that because when I found Kratom exactly 7 years ago, I was shocked that there's a plant that could help my pain better than pharmaceuticals. And I had never heard of it. The 9 years in pain management, I never heard of Kratom. And it's just, I find something wrong with that. Why is nobody talking about this amazing plant in the pain community? So I made it my mission to be a loud advocate.
And so much of the pain community shuts us down if we try to talk about Kratom, even now. I'm so thankful to see someone like Claudia who
she's
encourages
amazing.
people to learn about Kratom.
Well, last week we
Because
played Bev's video, the whole Kolodny thing. There's a new one, and we played it last week. It's eye-opening.
Well, and you picked a perfect time, I think, for that too, because you're around all the different meetings taking place next week.
Yeah. Yeah.
For anybody in Tennessee or Ohio or Kansas or
Iowa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just every state, just start looking at your thing every day because that's just what we have to do, unfortunately.
And the biggest thing is, and again, this goes back to the way they used to do us. If you start seeing news articles in your state, start watching for legislative action. News articles are the precursor. If you see one article anywhere in your state, let somebody know because something's coming.
I highly recommend bookmarking your pages, or your state's page, or your state's search result page on Legiscan, which can tell you. It doesn't say much about like local stuff. That's definitely like a good thing for you to look out for in the news and stuff. But as far
Right.
as like, state and federal, like Legiscan is one of the best.
Yeah, Legiscan and the I got the email for fastdemocracy.com too. I get a lot of information on them.
I love them too as well. Yeah, I almost forgot about them.
I'll put that in the comments.
Yeah, Deborah here, whose comments on the screen, she was at the Tennessee one this week, and she's going to be going next week for, they got a Senate one and a House one, 2 separate days, one on Monday and one on Wednesday.
Senate bill is Monday, House bill is Wednesday. Iowa's is Monday. Nassau County, New York is Monday.
Yeah. Desert Palms is Tuesday.
Kansas, I think they may have some of their wording rechanged, so that one may be a little more beneficial, if there is such a thing. Like I said, Kentucky's talking about something. We haven't had the chance to go through the entire 109 pages of the PDF file. I think it's taxation, but until I get a chance to read the entire bill, I don't know.
Is that entire bill like 109 pages? Oh my goodness. Is that all about Kratom, or is it lumping in?
No, it's also talking about cannabis, alcohol, and that's why I said I think, and I'm using air quotes, I think it's primarily taxation, but everybody be aware. Yeah, and Angela just said too, watch your board of pharmacies, because a lot of states are figuring out they can use board of pharmacy to do these bans. So it's not just Legiscan.
Also, I wanted to mention, I made a post earlier on our page this week about the new calendar from AKA. A lot of those don't have like the details of what the bill actually is. So I highly recommend before you send out emails or anything, that you look up the bill itself. If you're looking at that particular calendar as well, because I know that there was a lot of news about that recently.
Thank you for saying that, Becca, because you really do need to, when you're writing an email, put the bill number in the subject line so that your legislators know what you're talking about. Put that bill number in there. If you don't know it, reach out to somebody, because we'll gladly, if we have to, we'll dig the information for you if you haven't found it yet. And a lot of states are now wanting, states, cities, counties, are now wanting your testimonies and your stories and your comments to be written in a PDF format.
Why is that? That just makes things harder.
I think it's for ease of storage for them, so that they can keep everything more tracked.
Okay, that makes sense. It's just more work to like,
yeah,
and not
it's more
everybody's
work for the
techy.
consumer. Yeah, but if somebody doesn't know how to convert to a PDF, say something. Angela's a whiz, and she'll convert to a PDF for you.
She did mine for me.
I know can. Well, yeah, I know Chat GPT can convert too, but some people aren't even comfortable with Chat GPT. So reach out. I think most any of us will gladly do what we can, and if it's not in our wheelhouse, we'll find somebody whose wheelhouse it is.
Right.
And Extreme's asking about remote testimony options for this week coming up.
Most of the communities are allowing remote. It doesn't mean they all are, but most of them you do have to sign up. Like Maryland, you had to sign up 2 days in advance.
Right.
That was new for me. I had never seen that before until last week when they were saying you have to sign up by Friday, by Monday, and I was
Wow.
like, oh, here's another like roadblock for
Right.
us, you know.
And I can understand it because they want to have an idea of how many people want to speak so they can do their time allotment. But at the same time, that's challenging if you don't know ahead of time. There were a lot of people that wanted to speak from Maryland and didn't know about the time restriction, so they weren't able to.
And that feels like it's hampering our ability to speak freely or
Right.
contest
Yeah.
what, you know, everything.
Yeah.
I like Ohio, they let them, even after they had everybody on the list, if anybody was out there that wanted to speak, they gave them a chance to come up.
That Ohio one, I'm going to play. I'm not going to play the other McCurdy. I mean, it's a great interview, and we just saw a little bit of it of him talking about 708. There's a whole nother segment that I thought was really good, him talking about extracts and the industry. I would just recommend, if anybody found the one we were watching, McCurdy, interesting, in the YouTube description. I know people are watching us on X. Hello, X, over on Christopher's X channel, formerly Twitter. It's still weird saying X after all these years. Over on my Kratom Real Talk YouTube channel, in the description later today, I'll put up links to everything we watched. But it was a good interview that he did over there that's worth watching if you just want to get more educated. But I want to play I want to play a little bit of Ohio. So Ohio happened on Wednesday, and I was taking a little bit of a break from work, and I tuned in because Venus does an amazing job keeping us posted on links to everything when they're live. And I'm like, oh, let me go watch. And I happened to catch this lady testifying, and it was so good. But what really caught my attention, and we don't see this much because we've watched so many of these hearings on Kratom, the legislators kept asking questions of the people testifying in person. I'm like, usually you testify and they're like, does anybody have any questions on the panel? Nope. Okay, move on. And these people kept asking questions, and they were great questions. I was so impressed. That's not something, and I know they did that in Tennessee too. It's like, wow, wouldn't it be nice if they all did that? Some of these states, they don't care. They already made up their mind. You can tell they made up their mind before you even showed up, and they just want to get you in and out. If you even get to speak. We got Deborah here, who was at the Tennessee one. She didn't even get a chance to speak. Her and her husband went. She came over to TikTok Live, my impromptu TikTok Live the other day, and was telling us about it, which was just amazing. But she's going back next week. And, but even just having that presence there is so important. Being able to do whatever you can in person makes such a big difference. So kudos to her. But yeah, let me play a little bit of this Ohio, because I don't know if everybody's seen this, but I'm just going to play a little bit of the intro where we're talking about it. Apparently this was the second hearing of the Ohio committee, of the House committee. And I went in and have the closed captioning turned on in case that makes it easier for people to just read that along. Let me play this little bit of an intro of what they're getting ready to do, and then I'm going to play one of the testimonies.
We're going to limit testimony to 3 minutes, and hopefully we can get through everyone, and everyone has an opportunity to testify. House Bill 582 is for its second hearing. And furthermore, the session today will have a hard and fast end time at 1 o'clock. If we do not get all the testimony submitted, those that submitted in-person testimony do not receive that time to testify. We'll put that out for all the members to review. With that being said, up first today, and as we...
All right, let me forward to one that we're going to watch. But I'm playing this in hopes that this encourages more people to get active, to get involved, because this helps so much. And I'm not playing this lady because we happen to have the same name, but gosh, their thing is so hard to pinpoint. You have to give me a second here. They make this really hard to forward to. But anyway, this gal, I happened to catch her live, and she just gave phenomenal testimony.
Madeline Bradford, and I would like to share my personal testimony in hopes of keeping Kratom legal in Ohio. I hope that you will listen to my story and consider protecting our access to this herbal medicine. I was born with a rare and incurable condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome type 3, which causes me chronic pain. I experienced many issues because of this, including joint instability, muscle weakness, and dystonia. Due to the fragility of my tissues, I often experience over 100 joint dislocations in a day. I've also had multiple TBIs. Because there is no cure yet, treatment is focused on managing symptoms. Because I'm dealing with mixed muscle tone issues, there's downsides to the primary line of treatment for my dystonia, which is muscle relaxers, because they will further weaken my muscles and joints, which will cause more pain and damage to them down the line. But something must be done for the pain caused by my dislocations and dystonia, because these muscle spasms can cause further dislocation and tissue damage. Even after trying prescription pain medications and muscle relaxers, I have had the best results with Kratom, and using it with medical cannabis prevents me from relying on these prescription medications. It is also an inexpensive and natural way to control pain, which is what I must do when my pain medications aren't covered by my insurance. After a few minutes, after I take a small spoonful of Kratom, there is a visible improvement in my dystonia that anyone looking at me can see. Due to the bleeding risk for my EDS and family history of kidney and liver failure, it has been hard to control my pain. I have tried all different kinds of therapies, conventional and unconventional medicine, and joined many research studies. But in my own research, I have settled on Kratom and medical cannabis to have the best results to control my pain. Years ago, I decided to try it because my pain was not under control, even with 3 to 5 doctor's appointments I have every week. Before Kratom, I did not have the bandwidth to live a full life because my pain was not under control. And discovering it was like a miracle for me. And with the proper equipment, I was able to go back to college, complete my degree, and enjoy a robust career. It gave me my life back in a way where I could live like I was before my diagnosis. If Kratom is banned, I don't know what I will do. I've had to stop Kratom a number of times when I had to for surgeries or medical procedures. Even after years of use, it was easy to wean myself off of it in a few days. I think that a lot of the people experiencing what they call Kratom withdrawals are experiencing withdrawal from other substances or an increase in their pain due to chronic pain issues. And the deaths that are blamed on Kratom are often, there's other substances in their blood, or they were doing synthetic Kratom. Kratom has given me back my career, and now the ban is about to rip out of my hands what I worked so hard for. I've been trying to get into this program for disabled entrepreneurs for over a year now. It's finally my turn after serving my time on the wait list. But if Kratom is banned, I know that I will be stuck in bed from pain and unable to manage even just going to doctor's appointments. I definitely won't be able to get up and go to work every day. I cannot grow as a person without proper control of my pain and my symptoms. I cannot even take care of myself when my pain is uncontrolled. Instead of a full ban, maybe we could come to a compromise. Perhaps we could treat Kratom like medical marijuana. We could use taxes and revenue for local improvements and establish avenues for testing products to make sure they're safe. We could also institute precautions such as age or amount purchase limits. On the other side of the spectrum, perhaps we could require a doctor's recommendation. Of course, this is not ideal for many because many people don't have access to doctors, but it would be better than a full ban. I'm actually in full support of banning synthetic Kratom products because these have increased dangers and cast the entire Kratom community in a negative light. Natural whole leaf Kratom has fail-safes to prevent excessive ingestion, whereas synthetic has been altered to bypass these, making it easier to abuse. I hope that you take the time to empathize with my story and consider legislation to protect our access to this herbal medicine. You may find yourself or someone you love in a situation like mine, and I know you don't want to see them limited by pain. We have done well by legalizing cannabis, and I hope to see access to Kratom protected as well. I would encourage anyone who thinks Kratom is bad to think about my success story and how it gave me my life back. If Kratom is banned, what next? Will you ban other medicinal herbs like green tea, chamomile, or valerian? The thermos of coffee I have. If Kratom is banned, it will definitely be a dark time for me and the entire community with chronic pain. So please take steps to protect our access to this herbal medicine. While my condition may be rare, you may find yourself in a situation like mine due to illness or injury, or maybe your loved one going through this and you feel helpless watching them suffer because they lost access to their medicine. Kratom has allowed me to be a better daughter, partner, caregiver, student, and person because I can show up and rise beyond my limitations I was born with. I encourage you to consider my story when you decide the future of Kratom in Ohio. Thank you for giving me the time to share my testimony.
We appreciate your testimony. Are there any questions from the committee? Representative Brandt.
I'll keep it to one because we got a lot of folks, but I do have a lot of questions, but I'll ask you that later personally. Thank you, Chairman, from the chairman to the witness. Thank you for providing your personal story about Kratom and how it's helped you in your journey. So one thing you said, and it actually perked up my antennas, you brought up cannabis. What specific regulations, when you talk about how we should regulate it like cannabis, that we should also correlate that with Kratom?
Well, I actually graduated with an associate's of medical cannabis laboratory studies. So I've devoted my study to studying medicinal plants. And there was a class that we took that was about the manufacturing regulations and how things are tested to make sure there's not above parts per million of things like heavy water, mold contamination, things like that. And I've also heard things about people who order Kratom from websites in bad quality, like cheap products that may or may not be what they're labeled as, which is what we've seen with the 7.0 issue starting in 2023. So I would just support full laboratory testing to make sure that everybody's getting a safe product that is what it's labeled as.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Any further questions? Thank you for coming and giving your testimony today. Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
It's so nice, like seeing them smile at you. And
I know.
We've seen so many of these where they're just mean to people. I think of Florida. Remember when we watched Venus here on the Kratom Gals a long time ago? We did the Florida one, and that guy was glaring at everybody. They didn't like that so many people showed up in Florida at the state house to testify, and
Louisiana was bad too.
Yeah, that one
the reps
too.
there.
I also loved how Ohio did all the proponents and opponents separately, so that the people speaking for Kratom are not having to fight the people speaking against it. They could go up there and speak their mind and feel comfortable and safe.
Right. Unless somebody sneaks in and tries to.
Yeah, there's always going to be those.
But I love how they in Ohio, they let people talk a long time, and it's best to have a prepared statement so you can read it. She read really fast, and it's actually good to try to read fast because it's going on record. And so many times they cut you off. I didn't see them cutting anybody off there, which was just amazing. Do y'all want to watch another one? I thought the one right after her was good too. A consumer, Kratom consumer lady who's also has a Kratom company, and I thought she was really compelling. So yeah, let's keep going if y'all are good with that. Because it's interesting to watch these, and you start watching these different ones around the country. They're all so different from each other. You know, I just wish it was more of this, smiling at you, asking good questions. It'd be nice if they could say Kratom, not Creighton.
I know.
But, you know, you can only hope. I still think back to one of those hearings we watched a long time ago here on the Kratom Gals, and the person said, on his phone, the Google machine says, like the guy was Googling it while he was talking on record as a legislator in one of these states. It was the craziest thing ever. All right, let's keep going.
Next up, we have Natalie DeVera to provide proponent testimony. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. You don't have an easy name like I do.
Sorry, it's DeVere, but that's fine. Don't worry. Chair, Vice Chair, ranking members, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to provide my testimony. My name is Natalie DeVere, and I'm the Director of Operations of Miracle Kratom, an Ohio small business that my husband and I have operated for the past 9 years, selling only natural Kratom leaf products. We do not sell enhanced extracts, concentrated alkaloids, or synthetic products. We sell plain leaf Kratom. I'm here in strong support of HB 587 because Ohio is long overdue for clear, consistent, science-based regulations on natural Kratom products. For years, Kratom has existed in a regulatory vacuum in Ohio. Since around 2018, the Ohio Department of Agriculture has taken the position that Kratom may be sold in Ohio, but not for human consumption. That means businesses are discouraged from including warning labels or serving instructions on products that are clearly being consumed by adults. As a business owner, that puts us in an impossible situation. We believe responsible labeling and consumer information is critical to safe and informed consumption. Yet under current interpretations by the ODA, including those warnings could subject a business to embargo. That's not sound public health policy. HB 587 corrects that. It establishes labeling standards, age restrictions, and product safety requirements. It brings transparency to the marketplace that has operated in uncertainty. Our neighboring state, Kentucky, which we also own and operate a Kratom store, has already implemented these exact regulations since July of 2024. I also want to address the increased issue of like 7-OH. It is critical to understand that 7-OH is a singular alkaloid found in natural trace amounts of the Kratom leaf. In isolated and concentrated forms, these products are not Kratom. However, in recent years, high-potency synthetic or manipulated alkaloid products have entered the marketplace and erroneously been advertised and sold as kratom. These products are fundamentally different from natural products and should be prohibited. When data is presented about isolated 7-OH or concentrated extracts, it is often characterized as though it represents traditional kratom. That is scientifically inaccurate. HB 587 recognizes this distinction by capping 7-OH levels and banning concentrated synthetic alkaloids. That is exactly where regulatory focus belongs. I also want to briefly address federal oversight. In August of 2024, our company was investigated by the FDA following a report of death in Ohio. According to the autopsy, it was due to acute combined drug effects with toxic levels of gabapentin, benzoiazepines, Benadryl, and mitragynine found in the system. The FDA conducted an investigation of our operations. We provided certificates of analysis, product labeling, and documentation of our good manufacturing practices. We do not make medical claims. We follow dietary supplement manufacturing standards. After the investigation, no enforcement action was taken against our company. I share this not defensively, but to demonstrate that responsible operators exist in the space and that regulations work when applied appropriately. Kratom is not FDA approved as a drug and cannot be marketed or sold bearing medical claims. It currently exists in the dietary supplement or food category federally. That federal ambiguity has allowed states in Ohio to remain in a gray area. HB 587 gives Ohio the opportunity to create clarity rather than confusion. If you want me to stop or just finish a little bit, I can stop because my time's up, but up to you.
Why don't we stop there?
Okay.
Do we have questions from the committee? Representative Brandt.
Thank you, Chairman. I always have a question, but I'm gonna just stick it to one. I appreciate the chairman lets me have a question. So I will just give you this one. You say you're a business owner.
Yep.
And that you support this bill for Kratom. So how does your business currently implement these standards of labeling, quality control testing, since this was all part of this bill?
So that's like kind of a double-edged sword because technically we actually do provide, like we do product testing. All of our products are lab tested. So the things you're asking about like heavy metals and things, every single one of our products has the certificate of analysis that has like heavy metals, mold toxicity, anything of that. And if it wouldn't meet that standards, we would never put it out. And that's for all of the products. We just sell plain leaf kratom. So it's just powdered kratom packaged into a bag. Currently the Department of Agriculture of Ohio does not want us to have any labels on our bags. That's been around since 2018. I've gone against that and we put labels on our bags that have serving sizes because I found that really irresponsible. And had I not had that, when the FDA ended up coming, it would have been a very bad situation. But because I had all the, like what you're correctly supposed to be doing with a dietary supplement business, we followed the regulations federally and there was nothing, like all of our products and like everything was following the correct process.
This is not a follow-up, it's a question to the chair. Chair, can we check to see if ODA does not allow labeling for this?
It's on their website.
It's on their website?
It's under,
it's
it's got a little pamphlet.
We'll follow.
I appreciate you, Chair.
Yeah.
Any additional questions? Representative Sims.
Maybe I can ask you this question. Is there a small network of kratom producers?
Yes. So my husband and I, we own retail, we own and operate retail stores. So we're direct to consumer. We started back in 2016. I know just in the Columbus area, there's another one here. There's at least 5 kratom only retail stores just in the city of Columbus. We moved to Cleveland, so now we have another one there. I think there's at least 10 that just sell kratom, not in a smoke shop, as a sole store.
Just a simple follow-up.
Follow-up?
Is most of the manufacturers, are they just in powder or, okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
I can't speak for all of them. I believe at least most ones that I've stayed up to date with are.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any additional questions? Representative Conklin.
Thank you, Chair. Do you find other retailers have shared concerns about labeling, making sure there's safe regulations? Is this something that you talk about among the community and the industry within your expertise, your sales?
In Ohio, yes. The fact that that's the stance that's been taken for so long is really odd because it is legally allowed to be sold. They on their website say like, you can legally sell it, but don't sell it for human consumption. So, which almost puts like this weird bad state. It's like almost asking to put a stigma on it. It's almost asking for problems to occur, because then people just get a product and don't know what to do with it. So it is like Ohio needs, like this bill would actually like finally formalize the correct standards that should be followed already and actually like have standards.
So I guess I do have a question. You're producing the natural product. When the synthetic product come on the market, did your customers, when they called and asked for the product, say, hey, are you carrying the new synthetic kratom?
We lost a lot of customers. So, of course, like we're in the industry, so other companies try to get us to sell their product. We don't sell anyone else's, but like our own brand. So we were shipped 7-OH. I tried it and was like, absolutely not. We never even sold extracts before that. Just like we believe just like the natural plant is enough. Like when you start getting to extracts, that's a different argument. But the 7-OH is just should not be on the market. Over the past 2 years, we like lost a lot of customers to 7-OH, and not like died, but like they went to get it, like, because we would not provide it. And we would get calls like, oh, do you guys sell that? And no, we don't sell that. And they would go to smoke shops or gas stations to get it.
So if I may ask, this may be a little personal, so it's up to you whether you want to answer it. When you took the synthetic product, what made you come to the conclusion, not for me? What did it do?
It felt like an opiate. It was like a full-blown opiate.
Okay. Any further questions? Representative Sims.
So with the kratom, how do you get the plant? Do you grow and harvest, or do you, where does it come from?
It wouldn't really grow well in, I think I was at the last meeting and I think someone asked like, is it grown in like United States? It needs very humid climates. It mostly grows in like Southeast Asia. Ours comes from Indonesia. We don't personally import it. We have like a different chain of things, and then it goes down the chain. So we have a vendor that will import it, and then we purchase it from them. But it's coming from Indonesia. There's farms, there's tons of different, like they have regulations there too that have to meet standards to get into America.
So, thank you. Thank you. So I think you answered the question. So they have standards for growing and all of those things.
Yeah, they've gotten better over the years.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
With no further questions, we appreciate your testimony.
That was great testimony. That was so
That
good.
was amazing.
Really impressive how they do things in Ohio. Unlike Deborah, who's here, who drove to Tennessee, her and her husband, and like she said, it was very different. You know, she said they act like they weren't even listening to testimony.
No, they seem very interested here, and like very interested in the whole process, and that's very rare to see. Like you said, a lot of the time it's just no question, move on.
And it seems genuine too.
It did. It seemed really genuine. And the guy smiling, it's like they never smile at these things. It's like you're bothering them. They want to be done with this and they want to move on. You're interrupting, you know, because they got a million other things to deal with. But those questions were really interesting, and they just all took such an interest. So I like that.
I really like when they ask questions when I'm at you know, the live hearings. I like when they ask questions because that shows that they're listening to you. That shows that, oh, wait, hold on. I'm getting, you know, we're hearing bad, but we're also hearing the good. And if we're hearing so much good, wait a minute, like, let's stop, pause, and take a minute to like really get a grasp of what's going on. And I think that's helping a lot when it comes to regulation versus a ban.
Definitely. Yeah, they really should all be like that. I agree, Angela. So that I figured that'd be a nice way to end our show today. Is like seeing something good in government when it comes to freedom, you know, and hearing two sides: one from a consumer who suffers from pain, and then a vendor, and just hearing just this full picture of the pro-kratom community that we all come from. So I thought it was very well done. I'll have a link to that also in the YouTube description later. So if anybody wants to go back and watch any of these, there were plenty of other hearings. We did not have time to dive into these. Venus is doing a great job of posting information on these over in our Kratom Real Talk community. Our Kratom Real Talk community is not only is there no censorship, but very informational, very community driven. So like you're just around your people, which is just so nice to have conversations with each other, and so much advocacy information between Venus, Robin, and all the people over at Botanical Advocacy and Education. We just got so much helpful stuff there.
Yeah, because finding those hearings is, I think, one of the hardest part. So the way the communities are coming together and giving out all that information to help everybody is, it's just amazing.
Now, that's Angela, right? I'm trying to remember
Yes.
these usernames.
Yeah.
So she says, being in Ohio and dealing with the Ohio Board of Pharmacy, they don't have the same attitude. Yeah, it's like they're all different, right? So even though it's the same state, this was the House of Representatives, I believe, right? That we were just a committee hearing at the House. But she's saying the Ohio Board of Pharmacy completely different. And we've seen some of those Board of Pharmacies around the country. And it's like, man, especially those Massachusetts ones. Oof. Wow. So yeah, Angela, we've been here. We've been live for 2 hours and 15 minutes. We've been here a while, so I think it's time to wrap up. Always a great time visiting.
It
with
flies
each other,
by.
hearing all these different perspectives.
Amazing.
And it was great having the gang back after our very popular February 14th episode. So I don't think too many people saw what was said about that episode and about us because it wasn't put out as a recording. So if you didn't see that particular webinar live from the AKA, then you didn't even know. But I think anybody that comes here and watches us, they know what we talk about, what we stand for, and what we don't stand for. I think it's pretty obvious, anybody that hangs out here with us. But people that don't hang out here with us, are getting painted a different picture. But it's okay. We're not gonna not do this. And there's nobody in our community that can keep us everyday Kratom consumers for coming together and doing this. We are not funded to come do this. We're all just very passionate and we want to all come together and have these discussions because it's so incredibly important. And we appreciate
and it just shows how much Kratom can do because we're able to sit up here and make sense and sit like for 2 to 3 hours we've sat here before. I couldn't do it without my tea.
Oh, exactly. Same here. And by the way, my day today is being powered by Taunton Bay. That's all I'm going to say. That's not like a rhyme. I feel like I'm rapping. I don't want to get in trouble at YouTube, but yeah, if it wasn't for my Taunton Bay today, I wouldn't be able to sit in this chair this long. So, I'm getting ready to take more in just a little bit and allows me to do all this stuff, just like I know you all are able to do all the stuff you do. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you all so much.
Wouldn't be here without it.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And thank you. Much love.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you all for joining us.
And don't forget, it's daylight savings. Change your clocks.
Oh,
I did forget. I had no clue.
Tonight?
Yeah, it's tonight.
Oh, well, it's an extra hour of dancing for me.
No, we spring forward. We lose an hour.
Oh, me.
This
Oh,
is
that's a
the
bummer.
This is the
I don't
hard
like
one.
that one.
This is the hard one because we lose an hour. Yeah, but it'll be
I'm
like
still trying to catch up on sleep from the last time we changed.
right.
Like
Takes
nothing. Just
forever.
leave it alone.
Takes forever to get caught up. I saw a video somewhere on TikTok, somewhere in Canada. I forgot which part of Canada. They said this is the last time they're doing. They're done. They're not going to do it anymore. Wouldn't that be nice? It'd be nice if we just.
It was wonderful living in Arizona because they don't do daylight savings.
Yes.
They stay the same.
Fun.
That would be so nice. It throws you off for like a week.
It does.
Yeah.
Longer. But I'm looking forward to it being light longer because I prefer that when I'm out walking my dog at night. So
I've noticed that like at 6 o'clock, I'm like, wait a minute, is that you I see out there, sunshine, just a smidge of it? Like, I mean, granted, it's cloudy 9 times out of 10, but I see that sun trying to poke through and I'm like, oh, give me the vitamin D. It's been a very long winter here in the East Coast. We just constantly keep getting dumped on. We've beat the blizzard of 78 in areas out here. So we've had enough snow and I'm done. I need sunshine because This winter has been
Yeah.
depressing.
And I'm
I'm
still
praying
here in
for
Montana
you.
where we need more snow. We don't want more snow, but we need more snow.
You can have ours. We're done.
No,
Yeah.
no. We sent it to you. You get to keep it.
And we've already been
You
in
can't,
80-degree
no
weather.
takesies backsies.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, those of y'all that are still having to bundle up. I've been enjoying being in shorts
Yeah.
for the last few weeks. We're already in the 80s every day, and I'm fine with it down
Oh,
here.
we're such a yo-yo. I mean, we were 50 yesterday. We're 30 something today.
Ooh.
We bounce back and forth a lot, and this time of year is always bad. So
Wow.
My
We got
phone says it's,
70s all week.
dude, my phone says it's
Wow.
85 degrees, but feels like 92 because
Ooh,
we're so
80s next week for
humid.
us.
That'd
I'm
be
at
too much for
47
me.
degrees right now for the high today here.
Wow. Oh my
But
goodness.
that's like a good high for y'all, right? Because that's like
Well, we
nobody's
had
so
like
cold.
50-degree weathers and then it like snowed. Like the weather here has been very up and down, which is very rude on my body, Becca's body. Like we feel it wholeheartedly every day, all day. It's like, can you just pick one? Because I need to level out.
Yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna give me cold, give me cold.
Yeah. Next week, we're
I'll
supposed to
adjust.
have like some 60-degree days, but then again, at night, it's still cold. So with here, I've noticed on the East Coast, there's really kind of no in between. Everybody's like, oh, you have 4 seasons. Well, it may look like that at outside, but it does not feel like that. It's either hot or cold, one or the other. There's really,
That's how it is here.
you get like a smidge of in between. It's like a teaser. And then they're like, oh, wait, here's summer, like we have spring for a week.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, we're in the teas right now. It's almost done. So yeah. Ours is very short as well. Well, thank y'all so much for hanging out. I'm so glad
Thank
y'all like doing this
Thanks
each
for
week.
inviting us.
Absolutely. Love hearing everybody's perspectives and just, learning more from each other. I think it's so important.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
And I like to be able to pass the mic around, give everybody a chance.
Yep. And come see us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our group on school.
That reminds me, Venus, I totally forgot to tell you, I'm not going to be there tomorrow. So are you good running it?
Yep, I'm good. I'm fine. Thank
Venus
you.
is wonderful running it.
Yeah, tomorrow's haircut and
Oh,
color
thank
day. So
you.
I'm gonna go do that, and I totally forgot to. Kept meaning to tell you. So but I know you like running it, so it gives me peace of mind. So
Yep,
it's
I
like
love it.
it's in good hands. But yeah, y'all come join us on school tomorrow every Thursday and Sunday. We just have a casual hangout. It's like a Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
It's private, and we just chat about whatever. Sometimes we talk about Kratom, sometimes we don't. We talk about whatever. You're with your people. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you have any questions about the hearings coming up or anything like that, you can ask there too.
Mm-hmm. Health, hearings, heart. We talk about it all.
All of it. Yep.
Yep.
It's just a happy family. I love my extended family. I mean, I'm closer to a lot of the Kratom community and my Kratom family than I am a lot of my own, and it's like,
right.
I'm grateful for each and every single one of you guys. You guys have all added something very positive to my life.
Yep. I say Kratom got me up and going, and the community keeps me going.
Oh, that's
Beautifully said.
That's wonderful.
That is very beautifully said. I love that. I think a lot of us feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're gonna leave y'all with "Living the Kratom Life." I think that's a good song to end with. We're gonna
is.
watch Becca jam out because it's always fun watching her.
Yes.
Becca, I love your TikTok of you dancing. I think that was yesterday's? Is that right? I don't know. I can't keep track. There's too many things I watch. But you were like, that was so cute. I love it. You make the best videos.
Yeah, come watch me make it be silly at least once a week.
Yeah. You're so great at it. So tell everybody
You're a
what.
lifter. Happy.
Yes, it's
lift
very
us.
uplifting.
Yes,
It's very uplifting.
uplifting.
Tell everybody what's your TikTok handle, so if anybody wants to go follow you there.
You can find me at Taunton Bay Kratom, and that's Kratom with the letter 8, of course.
Yeah, your videos are so good. So yeah, but your dancing one this week was I loved it. It's always just so uplifting. made me smile. And so now I'm like, oh, getting ready to smile again because you're gonna be rocking out when we like you always do with these songs. Although this one's more of a low key song, but I know you'll still be doing your in chair dancing. So, all right, y'all. See y'all next week on the Kratom Gals. Have a good
Bye,
weekend.
everyone. Bye.
Woke up today feeling light. Grab my blend, ready for flight. Green mango, it's my start. Red barley to calm my heart. From dawn to dusk, I'm feeling free. With every leaf from the kratom tree, I take my dose, I feel alive. Yeah, I'm living the kratom life. Oh, I'm living the kratom life so wild. Every day, I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. White vein when I need the drive. It's the power that makes me thrive. Mix it up, I found my way. Living the kratom life every day. From dawn to dusk, I'm feeling free. With every leaf from the kratom tree, I take my dose, I feel alive. Yeah, I'm living the kratom life. Oh, I'm living the kratom life so wild. Every day, I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. You already know. When the day is long, I feel the strain. I know that kratom eases the pain. So I take my blend and I rise. With herbal realm, I touch the skies. Oh, I'm living the kratom life so wild. Every day, I'm feeling revived. Capsules packed with nature's glow. Herbal realm, you already know. Yeah, I'm living the kratom life. Ooh, 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 ooh. When the day is long, I feel the strain. I know